Yes, sir.
Monday already?
Yes, sir.
Adam, you ready?
Mike's on.
Mike's on. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the September 2nd, 2025 regular scheduled board meeting to order. I've asked Commissioner Perkins to lead us in the prayer, and Commissioner Mobley is going to lead us in the pledge. So if y'all would, please stand.
Let us pray. Our Father God in heaven, we come, dear God, almost before your presence. Thank you, God, for how you have blessed and watched over and kept us throughout this day. Thank you for allowing us to come, dear God, and serve on this board. Asking now, dear God, your presence to come in, dear God, that you would guide us, dear God, how to handle the situation we come before this board. Give us the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, dear God, to be able to rightly divide the truth, dear God, and be able to handle the situation that come before this board. Ask God to look upon all of our departments, God, all of our leaders, dear God, of this county. Continue to bless them, oh God. Continue to let us work in harmony with each other, dear God. And God, continue to look upon this nation, God. Bring this nation, dear God, under the rule of your powers. Help us, dear God, to live according to your will. And God, we give you praise and glory. In Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all for that. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have one meeting there, the August 19th, 2025 regular scheduled board meeting. Any questions, comments, concerns in regards to those minutes? Or do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hale, a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is public concerns and comments. I have 3 cards here. I have Mr. Mercer Roberts Jr. of 26006 State Road 247. Okay, welcome, sir. Where's he at? If you would come to the podium, please, sir.
Do I give you my address?
I read it for the record. Thank you, though.
Okay, my name is Richard Mercer Roberts Jr., and I'm a founder of H2 Mobile Water Testing and Plumbing Incorporated. Next year, I will be launching a project called H2O Lab on Wheels. I want to correct an error that appeared in the news article date August 6, 2025. Following the board meeting on August 5th of 2025, the article referred to my project as H2 Lab on Wheels. The correct name is H2O Lab on Wheels. This clarifies it's important because H2 represents hydrogen, while H2O represents water. Since my project focused on testing well water, the name must be corrected. Thank you for the time and attention. My goal is to serve our community, rural residents, veterans, and farmers, and provide safe and reliable water testing. Richard Mercer Roberts, the founder of H2O Mobile Water Testing and Plumbing Incorporated.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
You.
I appreciate that clarification.
Right, thank
yes,
you.
sir. Thank you for coming. Next up, I have Mr. Richard Snyder of 27046 Branford, Florida. Welcome, sir.
Richard Snyder. I just had an easy question. I was looking for status on the audit. You guys, when I think it was July 1st, it was being submitted, but it couldn't be because things were open. I was just looking for status on it. That was all.
On our annual Powell and Jones audit or
Yes.
the EOC audit? The independent audit. Which one?
I thought it was all of them because I thought one was holding up the other one. And then maybe my misinterpretation.
No, our annual audit with Powell and Jones was late because the sheriff's office hadn't turned in his financials.
Okay.
So, I don't. Where's the clerk? I don't see the clerk. I don't think that Powell and Jones is finished with our annual audit yet.
Okay.
I suspect it should be turned in any day.
Okay, so it's almost complete then.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It should be.
That makes sense. I mean, based on when they get the documentation, it takes them a little while.
That's right. Once they get the documentation, it takes them a little time to do their work.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I have another comment card. Mr. Steve Fontana, 21181 144th Street, Live Oak. Welcome, Mr. Fontana. And that's my last card, but as always, even if you didn't ask for a card, I'll ask for anyone else from the public.
Yeah, just very brief. I know you're pressed for time. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things, possibly with regard to what's going to happen later with the public hearing. One is jury nullification, and the other one is doctrine of lesser magistrates. The second would probably fit, since you might be in a magistrate capacity in about an hour. So jury nullification gives the people the power to basically say that if you're on a jury and you believe that a law is unjust, you can nullify that law and acquit. Okay, so you should all keep that in mind if you're ever put on a jury. That the lawyers won't tell you that, the judges won't tell you that, but that's the fact, that we the people have a last say being on the jury. The other thing is the doctrine on lesser magistrates, where basically, when the lady has the blindfold on and the scale, that doesn't mean blind justice. That doesn't mean you just follow orders. We know that, hey, people have followed orders and done some very immoral things. You still have to keep your hat on as far as being a moral person, being a Christian in some cases, whatever morality you're following, and you need to apply that to both the law and the situation and the person. So the doctrine of lesser magistrates means that if you find a situation where the law in this application is going to lead to another injustice, then you don't follow that law. You don't follow blind justice to the point that someone else is being harmed, something like that. And that, maybe I'm talking to the choir here, but I just wanted to bring that up quickly.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fontana. Anyone else? Mr. Broders, I see your hand up. Name and address for the record when you get there, please, sir.
Keith Broders, 970 Southwest Pine Mountain Road in Lake City, Florida. First thing I want to say is that on Saturday the 13th, I'll be teaching a class on the Constitution. This is the month. September 17th was the day that the Constitution was signed in Philadelphia. And this is an important day we should all acknowledge. As a matter of fact, when George W. Bush was president, Congress passed a law that basically said that every government employee that is hired has to take an oath of office and also has to recognize September 17th as Constitution Day. And so I wanted to point that out. Also, I mentioned this quite a while ago, that I really think that in this county we should have a resolution declaring December the 15th as Bill of Rights Day. And so I'd like to work with whoever wants to help me to get a resolution passed where the county will set that day aside and recognize it. And once again, on Saturday, the 13th of September, I will be teaching the class on the Constitution. I guarantee you're going to learn a great deal. And frankly, our schools are not doing a really good job of teaching the principles of liberty and individual responsibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Broders. Welcome, Mr. Klepper. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Moses Klepper, 14581 102nd Path, Live Oak, and I'm here representing we the people of North Central Florida. Starting with item 3, which I feel like ought to be in the general business, but here we are. In his cover page, the county attorney stated that the objective of this action is to determine if the BOCC wants to modify the rules. Later in the proposed resolution, the attorney subjectively wrote that the board needs to modify the rules. We take it to prevent a representative from being able to take the time needed to publicly express all concerns, comments, and or grievances within a 7-minute time limit restriction. Even though there are dozens of historical occurrences archived where certain individuals were allowed to exceed the 3 and 7 minute limits. In the consideration section, Mr. Morrison referenced only 1963 and 1991 case law and a 2010 determination only declaring that the court should decline to accept jurisdiction in this matter, referring jurisdiction to Florida legislature. However, Mr. Morrison failed to inform the board or include in his proposed resolution Florida Statute 286.0114, Section 2, that became new law in 2013, which is titled Public Meetings, Reasonable Opportunity to be Heard, Attorney's Fees, which clearly states, and I quote, members of the public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard on a proposition before a board or a commission. So to be clear, the board does not give its permission for the public to speak, nor is it allowed to, except in special cases, to deny the public an opportunity to speak. You see, the board is ordered by this 2013 law not to interfere with citizens expressing themselves. The Florida Supreme Court considered the constitutionality of the Sunshine Law, and in concluding that the law was constitutional, the court stated, and I quote again, the right of the public to be present and to be heard during all phases of enactments by the boards and commissions is a source of strength in our country. Regardless of their good intentions, these specified boards and commissions, through devious ways, should not be allowed to deprive the public of its inalienable right to be present and to be heard at all deliberations where decisions affecting the public are being made. So you see, it appears that not only is this county attorney improperly advising the BOCC, he is advising the board to act against the best interests of the citizens and possibly setting up the county for a class action lawsuit. The third consideration proposed by Mr. Morrison is to limit group representation to a single issue, which many of us believe is the true focus of this proposed resolution. Noting that the recent past and future rules only allow speakers one trip to the podium to address concerns regarding all items on the agenda, what is this but another shameful attempt to infringe on citizens' First Amendment rights? The First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law abridging, which is to shorten, diminish, or reduce in scope the freedom of speech or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress or to make right grievances. More evidence of the First Amendment violations by this board is available when one compares the attention section from the 2021 agendas and the current and proposed attention sections of today's agendas. Several blatant evidences of First Amendment infractions have been implemented. Agendas during 21 and 22 there were an average of 4 general business agenda items where the public could speak, and an average of 12 consent items where the public is excluded from speaking. The last 4 BOCC meetings averaged 16 consent agenda items and only 1 general business item. There's none today. So you see the board has substantially decreased the general business items and has effectively transferred those items that would normally be discussed by the public in general business to consent items that cannot be discussed by the public. Again, there are still an average of 16 items on the agenda. It's just that many of the items have been moved to where the public does not have opportunity to speak to them. To anyone paying attention, it's obvious that this board invites citizens to come and praise them. But when citizens come forward to express their concerns and grievances, this board is willing to violate their oaths and the citizens' First Amendment rights in order to prevent exposure of their actions, non-actions, and allowances that are not in the best interest of the people. The passing of the proposed resolution today will once again confirm that fact and contribute to the compiling evidence against them violating citizens' First Amendment rights. Items 10 and 11. Once again, Jimmy Norris is unnecessarily giving Madden Media an additional $40,000 of taxpayers' money that he claims can only be spent in that manner, all the while knowing that the TDC grant money can be spent on springs and river improvements and other expenses that taxpayers have to pay for out of the county's general fund. Not only did this board give Jimmy Norris back his job that he walked away from with the same pay package, they are pouring money hand over fist into his department, which is basically unaccounted for. At no time has this board taken action to reduce the tax burden on the citizens they are sworn to represent. Since 2019, the county's budget slush fund has increased $105 million per year, from $85 million in 2019 to $190 million this year. Not once has a motion been made to reduce the millage rate and tax burden on the taxpayers of Suwannee County, but $30,000 and up to 46% salary increases have been handed out to select elite individuals, along with much unnecessary spending. For those of you who do not contribute to this behavior, we apologize for the undeserving negative attention that this statement may bring you. To those who are complicit, shame on you. And as promised, is there a policy been written since the last meeting to prevent exempt salaried employees from exploiting the rules and charging the taxpayers for overtime? Since you're answering questions today, would you answer that one?
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Mr. Hancock, welcome. Name and address for the record when you get there, please, sir.
You hadn't memorized it yet?
No, sir.
Bo Hancock, 6135 Wiggins Road. On agenda item number 3, I'm there too. The only thing I'm going to say is this is a slippery slope we're getting on, folks. It was changed in 23, I believe, where the comments, instead of being at the end of the meeting, are now at the beginning. The time limit was implemented 2 boards ago, and I've been placed in timeout because the chairman at that time didn't like what I said, but I've said it to y'all too. Now, I think you need to back up a little bit and rename this resolution. If you want to pass it, that's fine. But call it what it is. This is the Moses Klepper resolution. And I don't disagree with or agree with everything Moses says, but he has a right to say it. That I won't get that point clear. And I've got another one here that y'all need to correct this. Do y'all know, and there's 2 board members on the North Florida Water Utility Authority, right? But y'all are going to send a letter to the insurance company, and y'all don't even know what board y'all are on. If you look at that letter to the insurance company, it says North Florida Regional Utility Authority. Now, my question is, and this isn't the first time things are misstated, but if you were to sign that letter and send it, and something happens down the road, is this a legal thing when you got the name of the organization wrong? Do y'all see that?
No, sir. I don't. I've read that letter, and I see on the cover page, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't.
Okay, this is on the summary, but if you look,
I see what you're talking about on the summary.
letter.
It's on the summary, but it's not in the...
On the summary, I do see it, but on the...
It's on the letter. Add North Florida Regional Utility Authority as an affiliate participating employer.
This letter's long. What page is that?
1 of 2. May I approach and I'll show you exactly where it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to find 1 and 2 because I got a lot more than 2.
Let me go. I'll get there in a minute, folks.
I see what you're talking about on the back page. Yeah. I see here. Yeah. I see that.
And also, look at your glasses. Let me get back to the mic. Look at class 4. This is supposed to be putting Shannon Roberts on the Suwannee County Insurance, or keeping him there. That was my understanding, and if you read his employment agreement, that's what it says. But here it says in Class 4, all other active North Florida Regional Utility Authority members, again, are covered. Does that mean that you now are covering that entire board and double covering the two commissioners that sit on that board from Suwannee County?
I'm aware of.
But there it is. It says all.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that correction on page 2. There is a letter in front of that one that's 7 pages long, and it was stated correctly in that one, but in the back 2 pages for the letter to the insurance company, it was.
I mean, that I didn't
Correct.
see. It was not in the backup information that I
Yes.
got in the packet. That's what I get my information from.
Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr. White.
we've got a board meeting tomorrow. I'll take it up.
But how come it's not advertised?
It should be advertised.
Not anywhere I found.
What the-
Watchers it advertised in yours?
Anyway,
So we'll
I hadn't seen it.
let the 2 board members on that board from this board figure out where it was advertised.
that,
and
that's
what.
right. I just hadn't found it. Doesn't say it's not there.
It's in the. Did you say it was in the Lake City?
Columbia County's
Columbia County's website.
website, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
What was your other thing, Mr. Bowe, was about?
Class 4
Yeah.
on there. All other active North Florida Regional Utility Authority members. All you got is Shannon.
I see what you're getting at.
The only Shannon and the board. Now, when you start hiring other employees, what are they going to do with them?
I understand. I'll get a
Okay.
clarification on that for you. Thank you.
I'm finished.
Thanks, sir.
Can I sit down now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Harry K. Weaver Jr., citizen, Suwannee County, 65 years. I'm going to make it short and sweet, Mr. Land. I'm not going to go into a thesis. Captain Bo Hancock said everything that needed to be said in regards to free speech. Just because we may not like one person or not appreciate what one person says, we need to listen to all, because we may be one of those people that want to speak. Do we get shut down because whoever the board is at that time in the future elects to shut us down because they don't like what we have to say? And that's all I'm saying. Don't take it out of context. I'm for free speech, irregardless of who it is, as long as we have decorum. Not screaming and yelling, not yelling threats. That's not what I'm talking about. Thank you.
And for your knowledge, item number 3 is going to be pulled for some discussion amongst the board because there's some questions there. But then, in no way, for the public's knowledge, in no way, shape, or form on this resolution does it say we're not going to have public speak. We're talking about, it specifically addresses groups. Groups come and can elect a representative, but nowhere does it say we're not going to allow public comment. Nowhere does it say that.
Better, and I'm going to use it's people of Suwannee County against a nuclear waste dump in McAlpin. And instead of having 1,000 people talk, why not have the group that represents that and have 1 or 2 people?
That's what it is.
That's what we're trying to do.
So if we do that, and we have all seen over the last year more and more enthusiasm and more people coming to the meetings, like the sand pit in McAlpin, that
Yeah.
like that. So, but we still need to listen.
I don't think we're not.
Are we not?
How are we
we not
not?
talking about it in the future? All I'm saying is, please, if we
I
are,
gotcha.
please don't.
I understand. We're
Allow
not.
all of us to speak.
I understand.
Thank you.
Where was that? Public. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please, ma'am. Welcome.
Good evening. Chanel Harris, 625 East Tennessee Street in Tallahassee, Florida, 32304. I am also a part of Sincere Women's Wellness Facility that will be coming to 801 72nd Trace. But in the meantime, as we are going through pre-construction, I wanted to come and announce that we will be mobilizing a mobile health unit in November to meet some of the immediate needs of the women in the community. It will provide primary care services, prenatal and postnatal care services, no deliveries on the mobile unit, as well as behavioral health referrals, health education, and nutrition education, and lactation consultation. So those are all the things that will be on this custom mobile unit that will prioritize Suwannee County. So currently we will be in Suwannee County for 3 days a week. Initially we will be at the health department, and then eventually as we build a base, we will migrate to the site. And then the other 2 days will focus on Lafayette and Hamilton counties. We are prioritizing the counties that have limited to no access to prenatal health care services. And as we continue to grow the patient base, we will operate on weekend schedule, which will allow residents of Madison and Columbia counties to access. We're hoping that in the first quarter of next year that we will be available for limited community requests. So if you are having an event or some type of community activity and you would like for our mobile unit to come out and some representation, we'll be able to offer those services within the first quarter of next year. But the mobile unit will be in Suwannee County in November. So.
Very good news.
Yes.
Yes, good news.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Very good news. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? See none, I will.
Bo, did she want to speak, Mr. Bo? Or she won't do it on the
On the hearing, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, well, we're going to jump. We got 2 time specifics. We're going to jump to item number 12. At 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to discuss the possible board action, the adoption of final rate resolution for the fire protection assessment for fiscal year 2025-2026. Mr. Greg Scott.
Board, as you recall, we went through the process earlier in the year. This resolution simply adopts what you have directed in the past to set from previous board action to set the rates for the fire assessment for the coming year.
Is this our, I didn't read it. Is this our final hearing on this?
Yes.
Yeah, final rate resolution. So, board, I guess what staff is asking for is a final approval or amendment, but a final approval on some type of rate change. The current fire assessment is $120 on residential, and staff is asking for $151. That's what, a $31 increase for residential. Vacant land fire is currently $23.37. That would be going to $29.41. And remind you, on the vacant land fire, we passed that resolution protecting the taxpayers, that if you own a homestead and up to 160 acres, because Florida statute, you're allowed to homestead acreage up to 160. So if you're paying a residential on a homesteaded property, you will not be hit with a vacant land fire assessment going forward. This board fixed that. Commercial fire is currently at 12 cents per square foot. The increase is requested to go to 15 cents. And the vacant land charge for acreage over 160 is currently at 22 cents and is requested to go to 28. Board thoughts, discussions on those rate increases, or would you guys like to propose any amended figures?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say, just to be clear, you threw the numbers out, but that is a one-time yearly. I know some.
This is an annual assessment.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Just making
Yes,
sure,
for
'cause
the
some folks-
fire.
Some folks think it's monthly or something
Yes,
like
sir.
that. So,
Yes, sir.
and I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No, sir, you're good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Commissioner Perkins.
on that $120 the previous year, how long has it been at that? I was looking at that, I can't find it.
It was and correct me if it was 100 for the longest time. And we went up to $20 in 2020, 2021.
21.
20, I think.
So this has been since 21, we had the 120.
It was
So
up.
that been-
It was at 100. I want to say 100. Where's the chief at? Wasn't it 100 and then it went to 120 in 20 what? 2021. So it hasn't been a fire assessment increase since 2021. This would be for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. It was previously a $20 jump on the residential.
Right, that's what it is.
Do y'all want to? What do y'all want to do? I need some feedback. You want to make suggestions or?
You need to do anything during this public hearing?
Yeah, I think you're right, Commissioner Hale. It's just,
That was kind of what
I got off script.
Yep.
Public hearing. Oh, we open staff presentation. Any questions of the board? Thank y'all for reminding me. At this time, I'll open the floor to public comment on this item, fire assessment, which is item, was that 12? Item 12?
Yes.
Item 12. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on item 12 in regards to the fire assessment? Yeah, Adam, you'll swear him in. Mr. Morrison?
Ma'am, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Name and address for the record.
Carol Lee Howe, my address 7408169 Drive, Live Oak. I'm calling in, I'm here saying we need to support this additional $31 a year. That's only 8.5 cents a day for residential. We don't need to do like last year at the last minute where it was voted down. And because fire and ambulance is very important, and our fire chief has done everything he can this past year to find other avenues of resources, and he's done a monumental job, and I don't think we need to snub him by saying no. So please agree to this $31 a year, which is only 8.5 cents a day for residential. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak on item 12?
Still Moses Klepper, 14581 102nd Pat.
Mr. Klepper, if you'll raise your right hand.
You got to be sworn in.
Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do. The $105 million additional money that the county has that they're, available. You could name all the money goes in one pot. You got to split it up. I understand that. You got to have different departments, and but the $105 million more than when I came here in 2019. More than doubled, quite a bit more than doubled. So, well, it was $85 million.
Can I address that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Commissioner White.
What you don't understand about the budget process is that all the grant money that we are receiving is added to that figure. So by no means has our budget increased no $100 million.
I appreciate that, and I last year was telling y'all, I was reading national news, if we got a different administration, a lot of them grants are going away. I get all that. But still, there's been no relief on the taxpayers, you know. And as I said before, and probably applies to everybody in this room, that little bit of increase ain't going to affect us. But I personally know people that will, you know, that they do without stuff, you know. And so just on principle, I want to see Mr. Perkins try to take that millage down $0.5 last year. That's the only attempt I've seen to take the burden off the taxpayers since I've been coming here. And so do I believe the chief is doing a good job? I truly do. I believe he's asking the right questions. And then what that lady just said, everything except for approving it, I agree with her. I want there to be good services provided, and I believe there are here. You know, our parks are in great shape. And that guy over there, and that other fellow back there, I give them credit for it, you know. But the taxpayer, man, again, I beat this drum. Y'all get tired of hearing it. But the average income in this county is $30,000 a year. Less than $30,000, actually, by the census and all the appreciation, inflation. So don't affect most of us here. But, you know, we need to tighten up. Those people are tightening up. We need to tighten up. And this is just one way we could. So thank you.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak on item number 12? Item closed, public comment. Board discussion. What would be the pleasure of the board? You see the proposed rates, you could make changes, you could make a motion to approve as suggested. You can go through here, mark them up and make changes if you'd like.
I make a motion to approve as is.
Okay. I got a motion by Commissioner White to approve the fire assessment as stated by the board or as stated by staff. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Hale.
I would second it, as much as I hate to raise anything on our citizens. And I think a lot of what Moses said is very true. I know y'all can't hear me. You always get mad at me. I just... Outside of having the discussions we've had, some about an impact fee and stuff like that, I just don't know how we keep up with it, with the growth and what we got going on in the county. I mean, I think the chief has brought that here, and I wish there's a lot of people here tonight that was not here when that presentation was made. But it's like Ms. Caroline said, it's still $31, 8.5 cents a day. But there are people that depend on those trucks, fire trucks, ambulances. You know, we don't know how much we depend on until we dial 911. So, and that's why I would support it, because I have been on the other end of that. I had family members on the other end of it, and I was glad to see those trucks pull up in the yard. So,
thank you for that, Commissioner Hale. So I have a motion by Commissioner White, a second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right, we got another time specific. We got two more, but one's for 6:30. Item number 13, at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to discuss with possible board action the adoption of final rate resolution for solid waste assessment for fiscal year 2025-2026. Mr. Scott.
As before, these are the resolution that reflects the board action on solid waste. As you recall, we're trying to get the assessment closer to what it costs us to do business, so that we can not dip into the general fund to do that as much as we can. But this is based on the previous board action. It's an increase of $30 from $235 to $265 per household per year.
Right, this will be residential fire assessment. Increase $30 from $235 to $265.
Solid waste.
Solid waste. What did I say? Fire. My bad. Solid waste on residential. Any questions of board members for staff? All right, this time I'll open the floor to public comment. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on item number 13 in regards to solid waste assessment? See none. You should start sitting up by the podium.
I was hoping somebody else would come up here and say this. Still
You remain under oath.
He's got a oath.
You can remain under oath.
I'm still.
Yep.
A lot of what I just said about the fire applies to this, but those of y'all may not remember, we had a different attorney there, and what we got locked into, the other attorney told some things that wasn't so. We were supposed to have been able to get out of this waste management contract without penalty. We locked into it 5 years. I think it's coming to an end within a year or so. Hope so. I'm hoping that there's going to be a better rate that we're going to partner up with somebody. But I think the county got decisions, not all this board, but some of this board, and got the people into this. I know when you look over there at the general fund, there's a lot of money. Might as well spend it. In fact, over an issue today, over the economic development, we got to split it or we'll lose it. I think that's human nature. I think the county ought to absorb that cost till we run out of this waste management contract. County made the mistake. People shouldn't have to suffer for it. Decline.
Anybody else on the public? Anybody else on the public wishing to speak on item number 13? All right, I'm going to close public comment on that one. Any discussion of the board? I'll make a comment. In this instance, I will somewhat agree with Mr. Klepper on absorbing some of that. In the general, the board already currently absorbs it. This board will remember, but some of the folks in the audience, when we did have to go up, and that meeting was held at the Coliseum, it was a 3 or 4 hour meeting. I don't think you two gentlemen were on the board at the time. No disrespect, but I know us three were. That was in 2020. And at the time, staff was proposing a $362 solid waste assessment, and we fought and whittled and negotiated and got it down to $225, which is where it was for 3 or 4 years, and due to inflation, we went up to $235. So I'm very familiar with solid waste. I do have an increase penciled down here. I got it at 250, and then let, just for inflation, and then let our general fund absorb some of that, so that the public knows what's going on here. Is currently all of our, when we say solid waste, we're talking about garbage. Our garbage at these collection sites is hauled. Some of y'all in this room, there's a lot of people here tonight, so I doubt all of y'all know this. All of our garbage from the collection sites hauled to our transfer station. From there, it's loaded into semi-trailers and hauled to Folkston, Georgia, to a landfill that Waste Management Corporation owns, which is, we pay them freight and we pay them by the ton. They weigh the trucks in and out by the ton on the amount of garbage that goes there. We do not have a landfill here in Suwannee County, as do several of our adjoining counties, and a lot of counties in the state do not have landfills. So your garbage has to go somewhere. So short of having a landfill here in Suwannee County, at the time, we've been hauling our garbage, I don't even know, since before I was on the board, we've been hauling the garbage to folks in Waste Management. This board and the board before this one have tried to find a cheaper avenue to do that. The problem, and I'll just say it, the problem that this board and other county boards are running into is folks that have a landfill don't want any more garbage in their landfill than what they have to take. Why? Because nobody wants to put a landfill in their county. So it's a battle that we fight. It's not a battle that we created, because other counties are doing the same thing. We don't have a landfill here, so we have to take our garbage somewhere. Well, there's only certain places that will let you take it to them, because the quicker their landfill fills up, the shorter the life of their landfill's over. So then let's just hypothetically say Mayo has a landfill. Well, if we're hauling all of our garbage to Mayo and they're taking everybody's garbage, well, in 10 years their landfill is full and it can't take any more garbage. Well, now Mayo, Lafayette County, is back in, now this is hypothetical, don't put that in the paper. Mayo doesn't have a landfill. I'm just using them for an example. Now their landfill's full, and the citizens of Lafayette County and the board of Lafayette County are back in the same boat of our landfill's full, we don't have anywhere to take our garbage, and we're the ones who built the landfill, and our citizens are the ones who stomached, if you will, this landfill being in our county. So you talk about putting a landfill in Suwannee County, and everybody, oh heck no. I get it. We understand that, but the garbage has got to go somewhere. You can no longer just bury garbage in your backyard. Some people probably do, but you're not supposed to. Nonetheless, it's a battle that every county that does not have their own landfill faces. What's the perfect scenario? I wish somebody out here would give me one. I don't know, but I know garbage is expensive. And the folks that have landfills can just about charge what they want to charge for you to take their garbage because they know what they got and they know how expensive it is to build another one. There you have it. There's my speech on solid waste. We got a high attendance tonight, so I was going to give some of you guys a crash course on garbage. Guys, at the proposed rate is $265. I would like us to try to absorb some of that in our general revenue. I got $250 penciled in. I'll take recommendations. That's just mine. I'm just one of 5. If y'all want to go to $265, we'll talk about that. If y'all got a different number other than $250, we'll talk about that. Discussions? Mr. Commissioner White?
Yes, sir. Just quick on the, what was it, 15,000 residents?
Roughly 16. I think it's 15 and some change. Households.
So we were subsidizing it for $500,000 a year, and this would bring it down to $240,000 a year out of the county general revenue to finance the garbage. Yes, I mean, I'm all right with that.
So, I mean, hey, I'm just one guy, so whatever else, until we can find, my long-term thinking is until we can find and we may end up going back to Waste Management. We may end up renewing our contract there, but that contract's set to expire. And until we know where we're going for a long period of time, I think that what I don't want to do is find a cheaper solution, say next year, I want to do that, but then we have this higher rate. And it feels like we're overcharging our customers when we found a way. So I want to try to keep the rate as low as we can until we can hopefully find a cheaper solution so that we don't have to charge on the assessment side any more than we absolutely have to. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Perkins.
I know, and our clappertude is that there's a burden on the people to having to stomach this. I got some calls and had some people that even called that was in the city that could not pay their utility bill, and the man was blind and had a lot of problems. So I am supportive of seeking ways to be able to help the people in the county to be able to relieve some of the burden off of them. I was hoping that we could drop things down. So I understand where Mr. Clever comes and some other people. So I will move that we go to the $250 and use part of the general revenue to complete the remainder to make it up to the $265 per ton. Yes.
So that was a motion, correct?
Yes, sir.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perkins to adopt $250, which is a $25. No, $15. About need my glasses. $15 increase. And I have a second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Unanimous.
Mr. Klepper, you didn't get it all your way, but you got half of it.
We still got some. We got 10 more. We have another time specific, not until 6:30, so I cannot start that one until 6:30 gets here, and we are at 6:21, so we got 9 minutes. Let's go back to the front of the agenda. We've already been through public concerns and comments. The next item on the agenda is proclamations and presentations. Are there any proclamations or presentations to be made here tonight? I'm not aware of any. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We are pulling number 3 and 8. So that leaves 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Do I have any questions, comments, concerns, or do I have a motion to approve items 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
50-50. I'll go with a motion by Commissioner Hale and a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. We still got time, 8 minutes. Item number 3, adoption of resolution amending group or faction public speaking times at meetings of the Suwannee County Board of County Commissioners. Mr. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the board...
Talking to the mic.
If the board looks, I did pass out an amended version of this resolution. Never let the lesson of don't rush things that are going to go into an agenda packet go unlearned. So that's my fault. So my apologies to the public as well as to the board. The case that I had cited was the correct law from the manual I was using, but subsequently the statute, they had passed the statute. So the proposed amendment or the proposed resolution is only different from the packet resolution in that it changes paragraph 3. And whereas that one refers to the old case, this one, the updated resolution says in paragraph 3 in that, so delete that whole paragraph, insert this one. This is for the benefit of the public. And it reads as follows. Whereas Florida Statute 286.0114 requires the board to give members of the public an opportunity to be heard on a proposition. However, the statute authorizes the board to adopt content-neutral rules, including designated a specified period of time for public comment, and the rest of it remains unchanged. So my apologies to the public and the board. It's what happens from going fast and using an old manual, but that accurately reflects the current state of the law.
Thank you for that clarification, and we accept your apology for rushing the previous one. Let me say this. I've been the chairman now for 2 years, and I'm ready to pass this little thing over to one of these other 4 guys. It's a lot of extra time. It's a lot of, when someone comes to that podium, it doesn't matter who they're mad at, they're looking at me, or whoever's sitting in this seat, and they're mad at me. And that's okay. Everybody does it, but it's also my job to run the meeting, and I try to do the very best that I can to run the meetings and run the meetings fluidly, professionally, and give everybody the amount of respect and time that they need to speak. With that being said, I am not a good enforcer, albeit we have rules in here, 3 minutes if you're an individual, 7 minutes if you're with a group. I'm not a good enforcer of that. I've sat up here and let someone ramble on for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, just blistering me. I do believe everyone should have a chance to speak, albeit I have to run a meeting. What this does is I don't think it's right for someone of a group or someone to come to the podium and say they're a member of a group, but not identify the group nor the group members that are here, just so they get 7 minutes. It's my job to run the meeting, to come to the podium and say, I'm a member of a group. What group and what members of the group are present and who are you speaking for? I think that this board owes that respect to them. By no means is that a effort to silence anybody. You can still get 3 minutes, but you shouldn't be entitled to come here and just say I'm part of a group, I'm getting 7 minutes. That's not how that works. So that's what this is about, and it's just my job or my attempt to try to run a more professional, more fluid meeting, or else we'll sit here all night, listen to folks ramble about the same topic that the guy before them or the girl before them spoke about. Like, we get it, we hear it, but we don't want to sit here till 2 o'clock in the morning hearing the same thing over and over. So that's all that's about. It's not about trying to silence anyone or any group. Everyone's still welcome to come, get your 3 minutes or your 7 minutes. It just kind of cleans this up to try to help us run a more smooth and better meeting. Any questions, comments, or did I say any of that incorrectly? Or illegally? Okay.
Find a good lawyer, let me know.
So all we're changing here, if I'm right, Mr. Chairman, is they just got to stand up, identify the group they're with, and that they have more than just them here in the group
and to
get the 7 minutes.
As it reads in the packet, the people in the group have to raise their hand, identify themselves, like, yes, I'm here, yes, and that speaker at the podium is speaking on my behalf, 2 or more. So you really, and I did the math. I didn't ask for public comment. I did the math. So if, and I think Mr. Morrison did too. So 3 times 3 is 9. So you're still getting 7. So, all it does is that's the only change is the group members that are here have to identify themselves, and then also authorize the chair, who hopefully it won't be me next year, say that the speaker is speaking on their behalf.
It does also limit it to single issue.
And single issue.
So, Mr. Chairman, all in a nutshell, it is not indirectly or directly at anyone to prohibit them from being able to speak.
No, sir.
At the podium, they're able to speak.
No,
It's
sir.
only-
No, sir, not
so
at
I just
all.
want to make that clear, because that's what some that called.
No,
that
sir.
Thought it was trying to limit them from speaking. So
No,
thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you for clarification.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir,
but
Commissioner.
it limits them to a single issue. To me, I don't know about that. I think if there's more than one issue, or they ought to have the chance to speak on each issue.
Yeah, and I'm good with that too. So in other words, if there's nothing that's getting pulled for discussion off of consent, and let's just say there's 2 items that the group has an issue with, if they come to the podium, then yes, I would agree that they should be given 7 minutes and be able to speak about 7 things on that, or 3 things, or 2 things. So, I mean, we can ask Mr. Morrison. I would agree with that. I didn't think about that scenario, and Mr. Morrison probably didn't either, because they're only allowed 1 trip to the podium. So in essence, if you only give that person 1 topic and 1 trip, then in essence, indirectly, you did silence them, and that's not what any of us want to do.
And
So
I get what you want to do there, but that's the only exception I'd have with it is
Mr.
not limiting them to one topic.
So that amended language then could just read, the designated representative shall identify the group or factions which he or she represents and the issues on which he or she is going to speak. It just eliminates the single and says identify what issues you're going to talk about.
issues. Yes, sir. I'm good with that, 100%.
I would be good with that.
Okay. Any other questions by board members?
I agree with that, too.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution as
So
amended?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. 6:29. I got 1 more minute. Go. 1 more minute's not going to do number 8. We're just asking for an update on number 8. It's going to take a while, I suppose. Yeah, we'll come back to number 8 and then pick up the agenda. I got.
Mr. Chairman, I can do my county attorney agenda real quick.
Okay. We'll knock that out while we're waiting on 6:30. Legally, we can't start at that time specific.
I'm sorry, that was it.
For the public that doesn't know, Mr. Morrison is a huge Florida State fan. So I think that was his only agenda item. Was that your agenda item?
Yeah, we're good.
It's just sick. You know, we should be hunting a new attorney.
I'm a Florida
If I
State
didn't
fan
like it,
too,
it's a
so
good idea.
I wish you'd have played a little longer, but whatever.
I got my voice back yesterday.
All right, I got 6:30, so we'll go to item number 14. At 6:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be heard, hold a public hearing to consider special permit request number SP-25-09-01 by Rogers Towers, PA, authorized agent for SEMC Properties LLC, and Margaret F. Caparelli, requesting a special permit under Section 4.4.5B9, explosives manufacturing and storage, and Section 4.4.5B14, fabrication of metal beams, columns, stairs, and railings as similar uses that are compatible with the A1 district of the Suwannee County Land Development Regulations on property zoned agricultural 1A1. Mr. Ron Meeks.
Mr. Chairman, I do know that there was at least one person who was trying to claim status as a party intervener. Is there anybody wishing to claim that status before we get started?
Yes, Mr. County Attorney Byron Flagg with law firm Gray Robinson, representing Diane and Raymond Howard.
And what gives them standing to claim that status?
If I may go ahead and speak to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, this is just to, for the benefit of the public, if somebody can show that they have special standing by being particularly affected by an issue, under our rules and the law, they can be what's known as a party intervener and then participate as a party. And so he's asking to be designated as that. So just, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to you.
Right. So basically what he's, for the public's interest, what he's doing is saying he's an effective party, so therefore he is entitled to more privileges other than just public comment because of his
Correct. He would be able to participate in the hearing as an attorney, examine witnesses, call witnesses, et cetera.
I understand.
Thank
Welcome,
you, Mr.
sir.
Chair. May I
Yes, sir.
proceed? I'll be quick. My name is Byron Flagg. I'm a land use and environmental attorney. Sorry, my name is Byron Flagg. I'm an environmental land use attorney with the law firm Gray Robinson. With me is my law partner, Eleanor Samuels, also practicing land use and environmental law with the law firm Gray Robinson. We represent Mr. and Mrs. Raymond and Diane Howard. We prepared an affidavit from Diane Howard that I can pass out to the commission and to staff and for the clerk to enter into the record on the, not asking the commission to read that whole affidavit right now. My clients are here to be able to testify under oath to explain that they are neighboring property owners adjacent and abutting right up next to the applicant who's before you requesting a special permit. And because they are right next to that property that is requesting the special permit before you tonight, we are requesting that we be recognized as adversely affected parties because they are more affected than anybody else in the community because they're right there, right next door. The impacts to the operations of this business impact their daily lives more so than anybody else. And so for those reasons, we're asking to be recognized as an adversely affected party.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Commissioner Morrison.
Defer to the chair, but it's up to you whether or not to recognize or give him that status.
Yes, sir.
If I may, I'm George T. Reeves representing county staff. The applicant has their own attorneys. You may wish to see if they have any objection or wish to be heard on that matter before we make decisions.
Okay. Where's that attorney at?
Yeah. And ma'am, you can sit here. Here's this table's for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anything needed there, some of us can move and then some of the chairs over here. If you need a chair, let us know, then some of us can get up and out of the way.
Mr. Chairman, the chair could ask if any of the parties have any objection to recognizing the Howards as party interveners or adversely affected parties.
Anybody have any objection to that?
No.
Travis, we're having a problem hearing. There's too much other back talk and we're not picking up anything.
What would you like me to do about that?
Closer. Right there. Act like.
I understand. So the rest of y'all, when y'all speak into the mic, if y'all speak dead into it, and for the audience, if y'all would mind, just try to keep your noise down. It's a full house in here tonight, much fuller than normal. So if you would just try to keep your personal comments quietly or whispered or step outside if y'all need to have a personal conversation, just so everybody else can hear. Sir, I will grant you your request as an adverse affected party.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And we just for the record, my law partner just passed out the affidavit of Diane Howard, which is entered into the record. We've given a copy to your county staff and Mr. Reeves, and also to the attorneys that are representing the applicant. On the back page of that affidavit is a map generated from the property appraiser that shows you all how my clients, the Howards, live right next door to this property. And with that, we'll sit down and wait our turn.
Eric, did you get a copy of that?
Sir, yes, sir, I have.
I'll make it sure Eric's got it.
Eric, do you have a copy?
I was going to give you mine. Do y'all have an extra copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, admitted.
If you give one to the clerk of court for the record, please.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Meeks, we're on you. Staff presentation, please, sir.
Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Reeves.
If it would be okay, Mr. Meeks is going to be testifying from the staff report that was part of the packet. I believe everyone has a copy of it already. And then I'm going to, I know normally he just presents it, but I'm going to walk him through a little bit of this. at this time. And then, of course, the opposing counsel would have the right to ask him any questions and all of that, which may be a little different than you're used to doing, but I think it's required under these circumstances where everybody's represented and all that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner White.
Anybody that's not jammed up, can y'all slide over so some of these people can sit down?
There's
If you can
many
just
more
move
seats
over,
up
make
here.
room,
There's some seats up here.
just so everybody would take all the available seats we got.
In that room. In the room.
Chairs in that back room.
Yes, sir. Mr. Reeves.
Mr. Meeks, can you state your full name for the record?
Ronald Raven Meeks, Jr.
And Mr. Meeks, what is your present occupation?
I am the Development Services Director for Suwannee County.
And how long have you had that position?
I've held that position for approximately 23 years.
And are you responsible for the land use regulations in this county?
I am.
Now, Mr. Meeks, have you had a chance to review the application that is before the board?
Yes, sir.
And have you had a chance to generate a staff report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'd like to show you the staff report that is part of the packet that the members of the Board of County Commissioners have been provided. Are you looking at that?
Yes, sir.
Is that your staff report?
It is.
And does that contain your recommendations as to what you are recommending the Board of County Commissioners do with regard to this application?
It does.
Mr. Meeks, now I noticed with this report it has certain things like, for instance, it cites to case law and different things. Are you an attorney?
No, sir, I am not.
Okay, how did those case law cites come to be in there?
Well, I met with you, Mr. Reeves, in regards to the land use regulations and the comprehensive plan and how I wanted to lay the staff report out, and then you provided backup information for the case law to back those claims up.
And now, Mr. Meeks, are you familiar with the parcels that are identified at the top of the staff report?
Yes, sir, I am.
And are you familiar with Caparellis who are involved in the businesses run on those properties?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the present land use designation for those properties?
The current land use designation for the subject property is Agricultural 1, or we would refer to that as A1.
And what is allowed as a matter of right, the permitted principal use on A1?
The intent of that A1 zoning district is intended to provide for areas primarily consisting of agricultural and residential usage, consistent with the areas shown on the future land use map of Suwannee County as A1. It includes things like general agricultural uses, silviculture uses, cultivation of field crops, fruits, berries, forestry, agricultural, the processing, storage, and sale of ag products and commodities which are raised on the premises, single-family dwellings, mobile homes, plant nurseries and greenhouses, and similar uses.
Okay, and Mr. Meeks, are you familiar with the permitted accessory uses that are allowed in A1?
Yes, sir. The permitted accessory uses include in the A1 zoning district are accessory and incidental to the principal use of the property, typically associated with private garages, horse stables, barns, private swimming pools, etc.
Now, Mr. Meeks, are you familiar with the present use that's been on the property that has been represented in the application?
Yes.
And what is that use that's been represented in the application?
The owners of the above real property describe their present use as the fabrication of metal beams, columns, stairs, railings for the use in the construction of structures and buildings throughout the United States. This is accomplished through approximately 100,000 square foot building facility and premises that are located on the property. And the usage of the property, the present usage of the property is used for manufacturing facility that fabricates those metal beams, steel columns, stairs, railings for the use of construction throughout the United States.
Okay, and Mr. Meeks, has county staff located a video that shows the present facility?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that available?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, what we have is a video from the applicant's Facebook page that shows the facility, and it shows drone footage and shows what the facility looks like and all of that. And we'd like to present that or play that for the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay.
with me and my brother, starting in the fab industry all of our lives with our dad. We specialize in structural miscellaneous steel. Our operation before Pettinghouse equipment was the Stone Age when we started. It was mag drills and hand torches, and then we just grew a little bit at a time after that.
So when we brought in the first Pettinghouse equipment about a year and a half ago, it was a game changer.
The Pettinghouse saw cuts way faster and cleaner than any saw that we have had. We've had multiple other brands, and none of them could even compete with the Pettinghouse saw.
We used to take 5 minutes to drill a hole by hand, down to a second of drilling it with the Advantage 2.
The Pettinghouse equipment offers us a lot better sales to our customers because we could produce material and produce the product so much faster than you can manually doing everything.
Having the Advantage 2 has reduced our defects. The measurements are on. We're within a 1/16th of an inch. We're in with our specification tolerances.
We did have another brand and competitors drill and saw. Pettinghouse's drill and saw was faster and more productive.
To this point, from a year and a half from the time we've had the machine, it has already tripled our production.
Suwannee has grown tremendously in the last 5 years.
Pettinghouse equipment actually has played a big part of that role in us to be able to expand and grow bigger and expand our operations. And this actually is expanding all the way into Mexico as well.
We would have never been able to do these jobs that we've got in the shop with the least amount of man hours that we're doing them with and on time.
We're currently going to add almost 400 linear foot of shop space, 400 by 100 foot wide. This is the next expansion that we have. We actually plan on putting a second shop right to the east side of our current shop.
The schedule is very critical to our customers, and the price is also critical. We wouldn't even be getting these jobs if we didn't have this equipment. They are the best equipment out in the business. There's no need to save the money and try to buy the cheaper stuff up front. Go straight direct with the Pettinghouse, and you'll be way further ahead in the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Meeks, the use that has been represented on the application, does that comply? Is that a permitted use in the A1 district?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, in the A1 district, do they allow certain uses by special permit?
It does.
Okay, and I'd like to direct, and for the board, starting on page 3 of the report, is where I'm asking about. Now, starting on page 3, where it says uses allowed by special permit, what is that?
The LDRs allow certain uses by special permit in the A1 zoning district. Those things that are listed are livestock and poultry slaughterhouses. There are certain setbacks related to some of those allowable uses. Sawmills and planing mills, hospitals, sanitariums, nursing homes, and residential homes for the aged, airplane landing fields, public buildings and facilities, solid waste transfer stations, Class 3 landfills, conference centers, explosives, manufacturing or storage, paper and pulp manufacturing, intensive agriculture, utilities and related facilities, RV parks and campgrounds, and then other similar uses which are compatible with the character of the district.
Now, which of those does the application set out that it is based on?
The application as submitted is for subsection of the LDR 4.4.5B number 9, which is explosives, manufacturing, and storage, and then 4.4.5B number 14, which is other similar uses which are compatible with the character of the district.
In your opinion, does the manufacturing facility that is on site, does that fit within either of those two provisions?
No, sir.
All right, I'd like to start first with explosives with subsection 9, and specifically on the bottom of the next page for the report. I will follow along. So what are your reasons for saying that it doesn't fit within that provision?
Well, it is in my understanding that, the applicants have never asserted that their facility has been involved in explosives, but rather the applicants are reading the subsection and allowing a special permit for the use of either 1, explosives, 2, manufacturing, or 3, storage. In other words, they're asserting that the subsection allows the Board of County Commissioners to grant a special permit for manufacturing unrelated to explosives.
And you agree with that interpretation?
I do not agree with that interpretation.
Okay. And what are your reasons for not agreeing with that?
I read the provision in allowing a special permit for the manufacturing of explosives or the storage of explosives or both. In other words, in my opinion, the subsection does not allow the Board of County Commissioners to grant a special permit for manufacturing unrelated to explosives.
And for instance, would there be any reason to have subsection 10 immediately below if their interpretation was correct?
No, sir.
And what is subsection 10?
So subsection 10 allows for a special permit for paper and pulp manufacturing, and it listed as an available special permit. So unrelated to explosives, then there would not be a need for LDR 4.4.5B10, which allows for the special permit for manufacturing.
Now, also with the, is there a special provision dealing with welding shops?
There is in subsection 4.4.5A, number 20 of the Land Development Regulations. It already allows for the property owner in an A1 district to seek a special exception, which is an approval from the Board of Adjustment for a welding shop not to exceed 2,500 square feet.
So in your opinion, is it inconsistent to have that and their interpretation of Section 9?
It would be if the applicant's construction of LDR 4.4.5B9 were followed. This would mean that a welding shop would be limited to 2,500 square feet, but a much more intensive metal manufacturing facility, such as the facility that we have in question, would have no square footage limitation. It seems unlikely that the LDR is intended for this to be a result.
And do you have an opinion as to what the actual use, the use that they are using the land for now? Do you have an opinion of what is the most appropriate designation for that use?
Yes, sir. The usage that's being conducted on the property would be better suited for an industrial land use.
Now, I'd ask you to, and again, flip the page on the report, subsection 14, other similar uses which are compatible with the character of the district. Do you have an opinion as to whether the present use on the property fits within that subsection?
Yes, sir.
And what is your opinion?
Also, that does not fit within that category as well.
Okay. And now, specifically, when it talks about uses which are compatible with the character of the district, do you have an opinion as to whether this use is compatible with the character of the district?
Yes, sir.
And what is that opinion?
It is that it is not compatible with the character of the A1 district.
And why is that?
Well, if you look at the district intent through the LDRs and then compare that with the policy and the comprehensive plan, specifically I.1.6 of the county's comprehensive plan, it deals specifically with agricultural land use, and it defines those areas, agricultural classified lands, are lands which are predominantly used for crop cultivation, livestock, intensive ag, animals with equine, bovine, swine classification, including goats, sheep, mules, horses, hogs, poultry. The term poultry shall mean by the definition domesticated birds that serve as a source of egg or meat, including chickens, turkeys, ducks, ostrich, quail, pheasants, and geese. Specialty farms, silviculture areas, and dwelling units. Silviculture activities shall be conducted in accordance with the silviculture policies contained within the conservation element of the comprehensive plan.
Okay. Now, and does it specifically have a qualifier for other uses in there?
Doesn't necessarily. So the agricultural section has for feed and grain, packing, blending, storage, sales, a variety of listed items that fall under special permits, as well as special exceptions that this board typically does not hear. The provision makes clear that the special permit uses must be similar to and compatible with the agricultural usage as set forth above.
Okay. Now, Mr. Meeks, I draw your attention to paragraph 9, and or subsection 9, and it specifically says explosives. Now, explosives isn't agriculture, so why would that be in there?
I wasn't really here when the land development regulations were written, but and comparing it to other facilities that I'm aware of in the general region would be that explosive materials should probably be within a rural area of a less dense populated area, just possibly due to the potential of significant loss of life with a failure.
Now, anything else on the two, except the two subsections they're traveling in?
No, sir.
Now, assume for a moment, for the sake of argument, that they did fit in that. They did fit in within one of those subsections. What findings would the board need to make?
Yeah, the section that the board most commonly deals with in the findings, which is found in section 14.6.1.1 of the LDRs, it states that before a special permit should be granted, the Board of County Commissioners shall make specific finding that is empowered under these land development regulations to grant the special permit described in the application, and that the granting of the special permit would promote the public health, safety, morals, order, comfort, convenience, appearance, prosperity, or the general welfare. Before any special permit shall be granted, the Board of County Commissioners shall make a determination that the specific rules governing the individual special permits, if any, have been met by the applicant, and that further satisfactory provision that the arrangement has been made concerning the following matters where applicable.
So, Mr. Meeks, we've got listed several matters there beginning on that page at A through H. Now, have you formulated an opinion with regard to these matters?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you would, start with each one, and I'm going to let you go through narrative form and give the factor and then give your opinion for that factor.
So the first one, that the consideration is for ingress and egress to the property of the proposed structures thereon. The property, in my opinion, does have legal ingress and egress to the property and the structures. The second one is off-street parking and loading areas. I would agree that the property does have adequate off-street parking and loading areas. Refuse and service areas, there are refuse areas provided, as well as collection site being open for general garbage and commercial dumpster service for pickup, along with recycling roll-off containers, which is typically found with metal fabrication. D, which references utilities. The property is provided utilities by Suwannee Valley Electric Cooperative and is served by an on-site septic and private water well. Section E, which deals with screening and buffering. Screening and buffering have not been fully addressed due to the scale of need for the intended use.
Okay, let me stop you there. Can you expand? What do you mean by scale of need of the intended use?
Well, there's not a specific screening and buffering requirement in the LDRs for a use that is mentioned here, so it kind of falls to determining what effect that the use has to adjacent areas and what would be the appropriate buffers and things that would be needed. One of the things that we've noted with some of the investigation on the property is that the original complaint generated from a noise complaint. So we are not scaled sound engineers that can probably provide a solution in trying to deter that sound or remediate that sound to adjacent areas.
And presently, there's nothing in the file that would show what needs to be done to have that screening requirement met?
No, sir.
Okay. If you would keep going to F.
Signs, we have notated that there exists an on-site sign which will remain. The required yards and open space, the structures does meet the required yards and open spaces required as far as setbacks and land use regulations. Section H deals with considerations relating to general compatibility with adjacent properties and other properties in the district.
And have you formulated an opinion on that?
Yes, sir.
And what is that opinion?
So the first section there is the conformity with the comprehensive plan, and basically from staff's point of view that the intended use does not comply with the comprehensive plan as it relates to uses within the agricultural land use classification.
All right. And then number two.
Number two deals with the existing land use pattern. We have noted that the existing land use pattern is scattered residential and agricultural uses. Number 3 is the impact upon public facilities. We feel like that section is not applicable. I don't know that there's any public facilities that it would immediately impact. Number 4, which deals with changed or changing conditions which find the proposed use to be advantageous to the community or the neighborhood. The proposed use is not in keeping with the character of the agricultural land use existing in the neighborhood.
Let me stop you there. The use immediately to the south by the Howards, are you aware of what that use is?
Yes, sir.
And what is it?
So Mr. Howard owns and operates a septic business and had previously received a special permit from the Board of County Commissioners for land application of domestic sludge.
Is that involved in agriculture?
According to DEP, it is. So they are allowed to land apply and grow crops or foliage or grass. They have plantings that absorb any available nitrates, and it is considered under agricultural through DEP.
Okay, and please proceed, number 5.
Number 5 is impact of the proposed use upon living conditions in the neighborhood. The property in the neighborhood is subject to light, sound, odor, which creates a negative living condition as compared to other areas within a similar land use classification of agricultural 1.
Keep going.
Number 6 is the impact of the proposed use upon traffic congestion. We have not seen any known traffic congestion that appears to exist on the property. I don't know that there's any stacking issues with trucks leaving or coming onto the property. Number 7 is impact of the proposed use upon drainage. As far as I'm aware, is that the site has not yet received or been permitted for its surface water permitting through the Suwannee River Water Management District. So at this point in time, we can't really address the drainage issues that may exist, if any, regarding the scale of the site. Number 8 is the impact of the proposed use upon light and air to adjacent areas. The surrounding and adjacent areas are subject to bright lights as the operation runs a night shift, and in some field work and everything, our code enforcement office has documented some of the lights that do radiate from the facility. It's also subject to overspray of paint and travels to adjacent properties, which we've also received complaints on. Number 9 is the impact of the proposed use upon property values. Of course, I'm not an expert on property values, nor has the applicant provided any evidence to support that it will have a negative impact or positive impact upon property values in the area. The number 10 is the impact of the proposed use upon improvement or redevelopment of any adjacent property. At this time, there's no known impact to redevelopment or improvement to the adjacent properties. The last one, which is number 11, is the impact of the proposed use with regard to scale of need to the neighborhood or the county. This has not been addressed by the applicant in their request.
So, Mr. Meeks, in considering factors 1 through 11, do you have a final opinion on number 8, which is considerations relating to general compatibility with adjacent properties and other properties in the district?
Yes, sir.
And what is that opinion?
It is that it is not compatible with the land use district of Agricultural 1.
Okay. Now, and Mr. Meeks, if the board does not grant this special permit, then do you have an opinion as to whether or not the use that is presently on the property would be allowed?
It would not.
We have nothing further at this time, Mr. Chairman. Probably the best way to proceed would be to allow the applicant's counsel to ask questions, and of course, Mr. Flagg, if he had any questions, we would proceed.
Mr. Chairman, is the video to be made part of the record?
Oh, yes, sir. If we could move the video.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And I would also enter my staff report in the file as part of the record as well.
Okay, admitted.
And that was in the packet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so just for the record, he's entering what was in the packet, so everyone's had a chance to look at it already.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Counsel.
Hello, Emily Pierce, 1301 River Place Boulevard. We represent the applicant. I have just a couple of questions for Mr. Meeks. Mr. Meeks, you testified that the building is 100,000 square feet. Do you happen to know what the size of the original building was?
I don't think that my testimony referred to the size of the building. It was a building and premises, so it would be more the building associated with the activities as well as the outside lying areas where the steel is located. The original square footage of the building, I believe, was somewhere around 12,000 square feet.
Do you know the size of the expansions?
The applicant stated to me that they had probably tripled the size. So as far as the structure is concerned, maybe 36,000 to 40,000 square feet total.
Okay, it's about 28,000 square feet. Thank you. As you testified that you are not experts in noise, did the county purchase during these complaints that have come in from the Howards next door, did the county purchase $8,000 worth of noise testing equipment?
There was a purchase made, as well as our code enforcement officer, Robin Crespo, having received certification for sound study.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Counsel, for the Howards. You have any questions for
No,
Mr.
sir,
Meeks?
Mr. Chair, no questions.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes our presentation. And I think normally the way this would work is you give the applicant a chance to make whatever presentation they would like, Mr. Flagg to make his presentation, and then I believe normally what you all do is open it up to the public, and then we can have public comment, I think, unless there's objection.
So, Miss Emily Pierce, right? Pierce, Miss Pierce, would you like to go next?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Do you want me to speak from here, speak from over there?
If you're more comfortable there, so you have your assistant, that's fine. I mean, they spoke from there, so
This is my partner.
Partner. I'm sorry.
It's
I didn't
okay.
mean to call you an assistant. Partner.
It's a compliment.
Okay.
This is Courtney Gaver. She is my partner at Rogers Towers, who is here with me today. We also have Ernie Caparelli and Stephen Douglas, who are the owners and operators of Suwannee Ironworks and Fencing, and they also have a number of their operators here with them today. What I would like to do up front is I'm going to pass out some notebooks real quick, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's going on here right now. Then I'm going to ask Stephen Douglas to speak on behalf of Suwannee Ironworks, and then apparently pass it over to Byron. At the end of all of this, I would ask for a few minutes of rebuttal as the applicant.
Okay.
They're over here. So I'm going to start speaking while we're passing out the notebooks, because I know you don't want to sit here forever. So as you heard, Suwannee Ironworks and Fencing fabricates metal beams, columns, stairs, and railings. They're for use in the construction industry, and they are used both locally and nationally. They have been in business for 40 years. As stated in the staff report, we are asking for a special permit under one of two categories. You will see in your notebook that we passed out, Section 2, if you look under tab 2, and you go to page 4-17, that lists out your special permits that are available in A1. First, we have manufacturing and storage. There is a dispute between the county and the applicant as whether or not paren 9, which says explosives, manufacturing or storage, whether or not we qualify under that. That dispute is actually being dealt with in circuit court right now. The second one is if you go to tab 3.
That's beyond the scope here, and it's also not accurate.
It's in our complaint. If you go to tab 3, you see your ordinance where you added paren 14, which says other similar uses which are compatible with the character of the district. So let's focus on that one for just a minute. The staff is looking at the introductory statement at the beginning of the LDR, section 4.4.1, and 2 comprehensive plan policies, which staff believes supports their recommendation that Suwannee Ironworks use is not, and I quote, similar and compatible with the character of the district. However, this interpretation ignores all of the uses that he actually read off to you under A1 that are allowed by special exception and special permit. These uses include paper and pulp mill operations, racetracks and speedways, drive-in theaters, sawmills, hospitals, Class 3 landfills, solid waste transfer stations. These types of things are not agricultural in nature. These are things that have been added by this commission as a legislative body as permitted under special permits in A1. So by including these uses as permissible by special exception or special permit, the Commission has deemed that these uses are similar in character and permissible in the A1 zoning district. This opinion is not just mine. This is actually the opinion of the Florida Supreme Court. A special exception or special use is presumed to be in the interest of the general welfare and therefore valid, absent any fact or circumstances negating the presumption. Additionally, in a case called Rural Newtown, a special exception is a permitted use to which the applicant is entitled unless the zoning authority determines, according to the standards in the zoning ordinance, that such use would adversely affect the public interest. So I included in your notebook, just so you could take a quick look, if you turn to tab 4, let's look at, so the 8 uses that I listed for you, and I'm not going to go through all of them. Let's look at paper and pulp and paper mill operations. So a pulp and paper mill generally operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They receive and send out deliveries of logs, pulp, and paper around the clock on 18-wheel vehicles. A good example you're probably familiar with is RYAM, or what used to be known as Rainier Advanced Materials facility that's in Nassau County. That facility operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have multiple shifts that come in. They have hundreds of log trucks that come in and out. They shut down once a year for cleaning. They try and keep it to less than a week. And while it's being cleaned, it's even noisier. The other things, if you look at Class 3 landfills, those are generally operated around the clock and involve the use of large equipment.
If Ms. Pierce wishes to be sworn and give testimony, she should do that. She's trying to enter facts into the record based upon her argument, which is improper.
These are all in the notebook. These are simply newspaper articles, various industry articles.
Are you submitting this notebook?
I'm submitting the notebook and would ask that it be part of the record.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Howards, I also object. I think any witnesses that are testifying need to be sworn. That's Florida law for quasi-judicial proceedings. What a lawyer say is not evidence. It's only argument.
I'm simply introducing facts that are based on industry standards, industry papers. I'm not testifying. I'm just telling you the facts.
And none of us up here are attorneys except for that guy down there. So Mr. Morrison, you want to give us some legal advice here?
Mr. Chairman, I hate to throw the ball back to you, but it's who are you going to allow to testify? If it's based upon statements in the record, usually what the courts will do is say that the attorney is arguing the evidence rather than testifying. So if it's based upon what's in the record now, then it would be an argument based upon evidence instead of testifying.
So we are submitting evidence into the record. Like I said, it's just industry articles and things, and then I'm making arguments from it.
All right, fair enough. We'll proceed.
To go further, hospitals have emergency rooms. Everybody knows that. They operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They take patients in by cars, ambulances, helicopters, lights and sirens, etc. So the 8 uses that are identified in your land development code, the ones that I picked out, are all permissible under the A1 zoning district by special exception or special permit. They're in the county's own LDRs, and they are all either as intense or more intense than a metal fabrication facility. The uses are similar and compatible with the character of the district. That is your standard, not do they fit with your definition of ag. They are they compatible with the character of the district? This board, or prior boards, have defined what is a character of that district. That district includes sawmills, hospitals, Class 3 landfills, etc. So we believe it is similar and compatible with the character of the district, given the list of items that are allowed in that district. Therefore, we believe the BOCC is empowered to grant this special permit. The use also meets all of the LDR requirements. You heard Mr. Meeks testify about all of the different criteria that it does meet. With regard to screening and buffering, the applicant has proposed a minimum 6-foot-tall earthen berm and a fence along the property boundary that is adjacent to the home on the Howard's parcel. This berm will be designed and stabilized so that it will remain in place. If the county or this board wants something else or something more, please let us know. We have reached out to the attorney for staff and asked, what can we do to meet the county's requirement? And the answer we've gotten back was, we don't know. With regard to general compatibility, as I said, this is a special permit. It's deemed compatible. The property immediately adjacent is a septic tank installation and cleanout company with related spray fields, and the applicant will mitigate for any impacts related to the house that is on that property. Third, this use on this property predates both the LDRs and the comprehensive plan. With the exception of the 2 expansions that happened, it predates it.
We have to object. That's not in an article anywhere now. The council is just blatantly testifying.
It's in the application.
Which is not evidence.
Mr. Morrison, you got some more legal advice for us?
If she wants to admit the application into the record and based argument upon that, then.
I believe the application is attached to the staff report, and it is in the record.
So, I believe she is right. I believe you are correct on that one. Yes, the application is in the back of the.
Thank you.
So you're going to submit that as evidence?
Yes.
Testify accordingly?
Yes. I would just like to submit the application.
Gotcha.
The use serves the county by employing over 90 people and providing goods and services to the community. We're asking the board to do the right thing so that our client can do what is necessary to come into compliance with the county's rules and regulations and keep the jobs and this business in the county. And I would ask now to have Stephen Douglas please testify. Sure.
Sure. Just state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
You could raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
And be sworn in.
I can do that.
Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address.
Stephen Douglas, 1010 Southwest Suwannee Downs Drive.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I was more along the lines of thinking of some public remarks, but I have just a few brief points to make. Our CFO brought me a piece of paper today that has a list of the major employers in Suwannee County. I can obviously give this guy to you guys. Just as a quick aside, I don't know how to say this correctly. Sorry if I'm a little emotional. We are the 12th largest employer in this county.
Objection.
According.
That's irrelevant. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the factors that have to be proven under your LDRs.
I understand.
It's true. You want me to stick to?
Just keep it. You're good.
So, further, we're 6th in revenue. I don't know if it's relevant or not. I apologize. I'm not an attorney. We canvassed the neighborhood and built a letter asking for folks that were in agreement with what we do on a daily basis. These are all contiguous landowners. I have the map. If you would like to have it, you can. What this map represents is that we could not find a complaint, and we could only find support for the contiguous landowners, except for, obviously, the Howards. But we did that on Labor Day morning, trying to stay alive. The rest of my stuff is obviously going to be reserved for the personal comments, because I don't know if it belongs here as testimony.
Right. So at this time, counsel for the Howards, are you wanting to address the
I'd ask
counsel for
Mr.
the
Douglas to be sworn in under oath.
He was.
He was.
Yes, sir.
He was.
Thank you very much. Mr. Douglas, when you say you spoke to all of the surrounding property owners, are you absolutely 100% positive of that?
As many as we could reach. We do have a list on here. We don't have every contiguous owner signing a letter. We did meet some owners that refused to file a complaint and said they would not sign our letter, but said they had verbally to me, which is as good as nothing, I understand. But they did refuse to sign anything against us.
So your earlier statement that you had spoken to everybody and gotten comments from them is a little bit different than what you said just now. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got me.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Mr. Reeves, you got anything for?
No, Mr. Chairman.
So, counsel for the Howards, I believe it's your turn.
Well, hold on. She may have to call additional witnesses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. If it's okay with you, we are going to let the rest of our group that's here speak during public comment.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, is let's just get through council and let's get through all of you guys doing your thing, and then we'll open the floor to public comment. At that point, anyone from the public on any side may speak at that time, if that's okay. Okay. And I didn't get your name. What was your name?
Mr. Chair, again, my name is Byron Flagg with the law firm Gray Robinson, and my law partner behind me is Eleanor Samuels. We're based in Gainesville. And Mr. Chair, if I may call my first witness.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howard, you come up. And I asked Mr. Howard to be sworn.
Sir, if you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, if you could talk right into that microphone for me and tell us your name and address.
My name is Raymond Howard. Address is 22694 County Road 49, O'Brien, Florida.
Counsel.
Yeah, Mr. Howard, how long have you lived at that address?
I think I've lived there for around 23 years.
And is that your primary residence?
Yeah.
And who do you live there with?
My wife.
And is that property homesteaded?
Yes.
And you also have a business that you operate on that property, correct?
Yeah.
What's the approximate acreage of your property?
23.9 acres.
And what kind of business do you operate on that property?
I own a septic tank business.
And septic tank businesses in Florida are regulated primarily by Florida Department of Environmental Protection, right?
Right.
Used to be Florida Department of Health, but that switched over recently, right?
To DEP, yeah.
And do you have all your requisite permits with the state of Florida to operate your business on that property?
Yeah.
And how long have you been operating that property, operating that business on that property?
Probably around 18 years.
And when you got your business going on your property, you went to the county and got your proper zoning permit to operate that business, correct?
I went through the zoning board and the county commissioners.
I would object that that's not relevant.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. No, hold on. I'm not done yet. I know you want to get out of here. You're familiar with the business Suwannee Iron Works that operates on the land next door to you, correct?
Yeah.
And there are some things that are happening with that business's activities that you're objecting to. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can you describe for the commission and the audience what kind of typical things are happening on a daily basis?
We got loud noise, 40-foot beams falling on other beams. We got them sliding across to other beams, making squealing noise. Them drills they was talking about makes a real bad squealing noise. The paint coming over my property line. Done one paint job on one of my cars.
And when you say paint coming across your property line, can you describe to the commission what that looks like?
It's like a cloud of paint coming across.
And how do you know it's paint?
Because you can smell it real bad. And you can smell it so bad sometimes you can taste it.
How often is this happening?
On a daily basis.
And what hours of day and night are you hearing these loud noises?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
How does that affect your personal health?
Well, I'm woke up 4 or 5 times a night. I'm not getting no sleep. It keeps you on the edge all the time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Yeah.
Can I ask Mr. Howard one question?
Yes, sir. I'll allow you to do that, and then Mr. Reeves, if you'd like to ask Mr. Howard a question as well.
Mr. Howard, how far away is the Ironworks building from your house?
About 75 foot.
Would it surprise you if it's more like almost 200?
No, it ain't. It's 75 foot.
Okay.
Mr. Reeves, you have any questions for Mr. Howard?
Not this time.
Okay. He didn't have any questions.
One more witness, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Diane. And if I could get some audio-visual assistance, I have a short video.
Where is Carissa? He needs some assistance. He has a video he'd like to play.
And while we're waiting, I'd ask Ms. Diane Howard to be sworn.
Ma'am, if you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Diane Howard. My address is 22694 County Road 49, O'Brien.
Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Diane, as we've learned, you've lived at this property with your husband for how many years, approximately?
23, maybe.
And are you also familiar with the business activities that Suwannee Iron Works is taking on the property next door to you?
Absolutely.
And can you tell the commission and this audience what kind of things are happening that affect you on a daily basis?
Just like my husband said, it's loud and it's screeching. And I believe they do it on purpose, too. The paint smell, it looks like a cloud coming over. And you taste it. And like I said, one of my cars we got rid of because it was the paint overspray like on it. It's really bad.
Before we came here tonight, did we look at a video together that your sister took while you were present when she took that video?
Yes.
Can we go ahead and...
We smelled paint before we came here.
And for the record, I'm playing if you look at the video here, can you tell the commission what you see on the video?
It's paint.
In the video,
the spray from it.
I mean, can you describe what you see there?
Yeah, it's paint.
And that looks like fog to
me.
But,
no, it's paint.
And so is that your testimony today, that hazy appearance in the air is paint coming from Suwannee Iron Works?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
All the time. And now they're doing it at night.
And how has the loud noise and the paint that affects you every day, how has that affected your personal health?
Well, I've had to go get medication because my nerves are wrecked and it depresses you thinking you got to live like this the rest of your life. And nobody would listen. And this is every day, every night.
And you all have lived there since before Suwannee Iron Works started this kind of business activity, correct?
Yes.
And when do you, in your mind, when did this really start to pick up, this business activity?
Oh, I don't know the year.
The best you can estimate. When do you remember that this started to this?
22, 23.
And since then, how many days, how many weeks, how many nights is this affecting you?
Every day.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Howard.
Thank you.
And I'd ask the commission and the clerk if we could enter this video into the record.
Just make sure that
save the file. Email the file to the clerk.
If you could just give the thumb drive to the clerk.
Sorry.
Is that your thumb drive?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you just give it to the clerk and let him save that on his computer? The clerk's here on the end.
Yes, sir. We'll do that.
If you don't mind, he can give it back to you after he's done.
Thank you.
Clarissa doesn't work for the clerk's office. She's just helping out tonight.
Okay, understood. I'm the Gainesville guy. I'm not from here, so I don't know you all.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that's the only testimony that we have, the only evidence that we have from the Howards. I'd like to go ahead and proceed with quick argument, if I may, or at the pleasure of the commission.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Morrison.
Probably if we're going to treat this like a judicial proceeding, argument usually comes at the end of everything. So my suggestion would be to the commission to have argument of counsel be the last thing we do. Okay. So that way, let everybody else talk. So that way they can use that information in their argument when talking to the board.
We have no objection.
Okay. So that's 2 out of 3. You go with that too? 3 for 3. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Morrison, public comment would be next, or any questions of the board from anybody, any of the council members?
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
Yes, sir. Commissioner White.
I don't know whether to direct this to Mr. Reeves or to our attorney, but is there Before we go any further, is there any way to issue a temporary use permit to give the applicant time to move his business if that should pop up? It's just a question.
I can tell you county staff's position. The question is what they've applied for is a permanent special permit. I think the question is, could you issue a temporary special permit? And I think the answer is yes to that. You could issue a temporary special permit, but the requirements would be the same. So they would have to prove the exact same thing to get a permanent or a temporary special permit. So you're not, it doesn't really change what the board has to consider in due time.
But I guess what I'm asking is, if you did a temporary temporary special use, would that give, in order to put the same requirements on that you got to have for the regular permit, could it be time limited, and would he have to move at the end of that time?
The issue is that they presently don't have the certificate of land use development, the certificate of occupancy. So they have to meet certain criteria in order to get those and continue the operation. A temporary permit or a permanent permit, you still have to meet those same criteria before you can get the permit. So you're not, it doesn't change what would happen.
Commissioner White, excuse me, started to call you Franklin. We would be amenable to a temporary permit. We have to get our special permit, whether it's temporary or permanent, first before we can get our building permit, our electrical permit, the other permits that we need. So we have a list of things that we have to get in order to bring this property into compliance. We cannot start any of those other processes of getting permits until we get either a temporary or a permanent special permit.
Mr.
So
Chairman.
we would be amenable to getting a special permit with a time certain. We'd be happy with you giving us deadlines for when we have to apply for our building permit, our electric permit, anything that this commission wants to put upon us. Again, if you have recommendations about hours, if you have recommendations about mitigating, we are open to that, but we cannot start the process until we get a special permit.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Morrison.
I think to answer the question, so the answer to the question lies in the LDRs at section 14-10 or 14.10, which is special permits for temporary uses. And the special permits for temporary uses are reserved for certain uses that are temporary in character, right? So we've granted, so is this a use that is temporary in character? But I think the point that Mr. Reeves was trying to make is that for them to get the special permit, they literally have to make an evidentiary presentation, and this board would have to make the exact same findings as in that for the temporary use, that it's a use that's compatible with the LDRs and the comprehensive plan. So either way, we're going to have to do this. So either permanent or temporary, the board, it doesn't move what the board has to do.
I believe you could give a time-limited permanent special permit.
Well, I think that's my question. A temporary permit with an expiration.
The question would be,
and I'm no lawyer, so you're going to have to dumb it down for me.
So the question is, and opposing counsel is saying they don't have any objection to a temporary permit. The real question is a temporary permit like that, where they don't have to meet all those requirements, is that in compliance with your LDRs, or does that depart from your LDRs? You are not allowed to do things that are not inconsistent with your LDRs, and your LDRs don't say that you prove these things for a permanent permit and you prove different things for a temporary permit. So, for instance, they're traveling, this application is under those two provisions of the LDRs. Temporary or permanent, they've got to show that what they're doing out there fits within those two provisions of the LDRs. They've got to prove they're compatible with the neighboring properties, all of that to get either permit. So I think what you're talking about, Mr. White, is this a middle ground where we could go ahead and get them some relief and get going? My answer is no. I don't believe your LDRs provide for that. They're going to have to meet all those LDR requirements in either event. Once they meet them all, you can give a temporary permit or you can give a permanent permit, but they got to meet all of them.
Well, I'm just thinking out loud.
Sure, absolutely.
If you give him a temporary permit and he has to meet those before he can continue, all those exceptions, the berms, the service hours, whatever the limitations are, can he get a temporary, can we issue a temporary permit for a certain amount of time for him to move his business from that location once he meets all the criteria, whether it be a special exception or a temporary use? My thinking is a win-win for everybody.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Can I just speak?
Y'all can address that on the public comments, and I'll make sure everybody's respectful both sides.
I'm just asking questions.
And if I can, I think one of the problems when you have an instance like this is that the Board of County Commissioners is acting as a regulatory agency. You're not acting as a businessman or somebody that's got a contract. You know, if you have a contract with somebody and you have a disagreement, well, you can waive this provision over here and they can make it up over here, and you can do all of that. As a regulatory agency, you really don't have that kind of flexibility. You have to apply your LDRs as written, or you can change them, right? That's the Board of County Commissioners has to do. So you have to apply you're kind of stuck with what you got in the LDRs right now. And that, in my opinion, doesn't give you the authority to not require the compliance with all the things that are presently on the table that Mr. Meeks testified to in order to skip ahead and give a temporary special use.
I'm not talking about skipping ahead. I'm talking about you got to comply with what's got to be complied with, but only on a temporary basis. He can only be there for a certain amount of time.
But I think the difference is, though, Mr. White, is that right now they're operating. Right now they're operating without the permits.
I understand that. I understand that.
If you're saying that they can't operate until they get all the permits, well, everybody agrees with that. The question is, can they meet their criteria and get this one part of it, the special permit? Right? And so for that, they've got to show that they fall within those two provisions of the LDRs, that they've met all that other criteria that's set out on the compatibility and all of that.
And in quick response, I believe we have met all of the criteria. I believe that we are compatible, and the test is compatible with the character of the district. So I believe we are compatible with the character of the district, and I believe we have met all of your special permit criteria. And again, if you want to give it for a time certain, that's fine.
Mr. Flagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, on behalf of the Howards, our 2 cents, what I hear from the lawyers representing the applicant is time to come into compliance. That, to me, says...
It's time to move.
That means they're not in compliance right now. And my clients have been suffering the lack of compliance for a long time. And they're hurting every day. And we can't agree to a temporary type of permit. And we're opposed to that. There is a provision in your comprehensive plan that requires you to take into consideration and respect private property rights. That was a few years ago. The legislature required every local government to adopt a private property rights element into its comprehensive plans. And so we believe that a temporary permit of this nature would directly conflict with the Howard's private property rights that are protected by your comprehensive plan. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flagg. So, Mr. Morrison, are you saying now we're ready for public comment?
Yes, sir.
We got a full house tonight, y'all, and I want to say this before we get started. I mean, we're going to hear from both sides. We're going to hear folks that like the Howards, that like the board, and that like the Caparellis. And the opinion is going to be, well, I like these guys, do it, or I like these guys, don't let them do it. I like this guy, they should be able to do it. It makes no difference who we like. I think we all like everybody, or hopefully we do. But that's not. And I say that before we have 27 people come up here and say, "I like this guy. Let him have it." That carries weight. But there's a set of rules right here that this board has to make a decision on, and who you like's not on there. So, I'm just throwing that out there before I hear a bunch of people come up here saying I like this guy or I like that guy or whatever. Like, that matters, but today it doesn't matter. It's about the evidence. It's about the rules, the LDR, as y'all have heard them call LDRs, which stands for Land Development Regulations. It ain't about who likes who or who works for who or who knows who. It's about this and that application. So without further ado, and if you would, please, I'm going to try to do a good job. There's a clock on the wall. That 300 is actually 3 minutes. If you would, please try to keep that to 3 minutes, unless you're speaking for a group. And if you're going to speak for a group, then we're going to ask members of the group to raise your hand when you come up there, so that we're not sitting here all night and every person speaking for 20 or 30 minutes saying ultimately some of the same things. I see you shaking your head and wanting to raise your hand.
Yeah, I got about a 30-second question.
You just hold on. I'll get to you, I promise. I'm going to get to everybody. So I guess the easiest way to do this is everyone that speaks, because there's a bunch of y'all I've never seen in here before, you'll have to come to the podium, name and address for the record, just like we did before some of y'all got here, that people spoke on other matters. So you'll come to the podium. If you want to speak, you'll state your name and address for the record, and he's going to start the clock. I know you got 30 seconds, or you said 30 seconds. You can take 3 minutes if you want. At any rate, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and open the floor to public comment. You can go first. I don't think you have to be sworn in.
It's comment.
It's just comment.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
My name is Brian Rucker, address 2965 216th Street.
Welcome.
And my only problem I have with it as a business owner coming into this county, I've stood in front of you and I've talked to Mr. Meeks a bunch of times about various pieces of property. And I've stood here and had to have y'all vote on stuff. Coming into here, I've had to buy the piece of property and then sit there and wait my 45 days for my zoning to come through to find out whether or not I can get my special exception to move my business onto that said piece of property. And I've had to buy pieces of property to find out and wait that I can't do what I wanted to do on them because it would not fall into and comply with zoning problems. And the only problem I have with giving this special exception is they know these laws, and they knew that going into starting the business. And I've even had to do that on our own sell pieces of property. So in my opinion, coming in after the fact, 4 years later, setting up as an industrial, coming from an industrial background, working at New Millennium Building Systems for 15 years, and I've dealt with the noise and moving steel beams and building girders and everything else. The difference is the building is enclosed and it is also insulated. And it also, whenever we paint and we spray, we have to close the doors and it have to be enclosed, and we can't go out and do it in the yard. There's a lot of different things that go on into that industry. But my biggest complaint is that this is an after effect of, we decided to go and spend a couple $1 million. Now we want to come back and ask for an apology and, by the way, can we go ahead and move our business? When I had to go through as a person coming in as a business owner, and I had to go through and not knowing whether or not I had to go through all these steps. I could have chose to do it the route they went, but I didn't. I did it the legal way. And I think it would be, to me, I take it personally as having to go through this multiple times and doing it legally and buying pieces of property that if they would have done that, we wouldn't have been here right now. That's the problem I have with it.
I understand.
And that's all I have. And I appreciate it. And thank you for your time. And I apologize if I'm aggravated.
Yes, sir. I think she's next. She's already standing, so I'm going to let her go next, and then I'll take you. Yes, sir.
I'm Linda Rucker. I'm his better half. 2965 216th Street. I'm addressing this only as zoning. Like my husband said, we have our own personal beliefs, which I won't go into here. We bought a piece of property. We wanted to put a small dog kennel on it. We went to Mr. Meeks, didn't like what he had to say, but he pointed out on a piece of paper and handed it to us what we had to do if that is what we wanted to do on the property. And it was stressful, but there wasn't any doubt about it. We either had to do it that way or hit the highway. You would think on 30 acres it wouldn't be hard to place a 20 by 40 foot building somewhere. We ended up putting it closer to our own home than we would have liked to because of the setbacks that were required for us. We also had to deal with noise mitigation for the surrounding properties. It wasn't something we would have done on our own, to be honest. We'd be like, well, it's a few dogs barking. But the truth of the matter is, we had to comply with it legally. It took us months to do that. We had to move power lines to do it. But we did it because that was what was required. We went to Mr. Meeks with another problem. I bought a piece of property, put my real estate company on it. It was zoned neighborhood community or community neighborhood, one of the two, something like that. Anyway, it did not fit that criteria. We could have a tire shop on it, we could have a bakery, all kinds of stuff, but we could not have a real estate office. I then had to go through zoning, again, the zoning board, to have it converted back to residential so that I could then sell the property as a residential property. So again, as just a citizen here of Suwannee County, I think that we all are required to obey by the zoning laws, or it affects all of us. Every one of you, our next generation that is coming up, we are responsible to them to have a community and a place where they can grow and flourish. And if this is allowed to go through, then I might as well take my 30 acres and go put a horse track on it and start some gambling, and the Florida lottery will have some competition. And then come back to the zoning board and say, well, you know what, I guess I probably should get a permit now. And anyway, that's what I have to say about zoning.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
Anthony Gelati, 6572 224th Street. I'm right across the street from the factory and the family. And we have 162 acres. And adjoining, right next to us, another 15 acres. So that entire side of our street is almost equal to the side of the street where the factories are. Personally, I have no problem with what they do over there. It's a country, and we should be probably thanking people to come in like the Caparellis who can invest money, and I don't know how many people they work in that factory there, but there aren't a lot of jobs where people can go in a place like that. So I'm in support of it. I live there. I see no problem with it. And they own all the property next to me and across the street. So I apologize to the people that live near there, but without having this kind of economic advantage in this county, we'll be milking cows. We're not going to be having people coming in. So I really support this kind of activity. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Name and address.
Wendy Martin, 15850 141st Road in McAlpin. I have property in the Suwannee Ranchettes. I've owned it since 1993. I know that the Suwannee Ranchettes, if this property that the fabrication plant is on, if it is part of in the plat of the Suwannee Ranchettes, it's not even supposed to be there. The Suwannee Ranchettes plat forbids any type of light industrial. It's part of it. Would have showed up in their deed if it, on a proper title search, it would have showed up that there are restrictions in the Suwannee Ranchettes area for what you're allowed to do, and it's in the plat for when they set it all up. And I know that 20 years ago, tire changing shop wasn't allowed. Any type of welding wasn't allowed. So if this fabrication plant down 49 on County Road 49, if it's tied into that plat for the Suwannee Ranchettes, this type of business isn't allowed according to the plat that exists for the Suwannee Ranchettes.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Name and address, please, sir.
Daniel Howard. 8120 U.S. Highway 27, Brantford, Florida. 23 years ago, I was standing at one of these podiums here over, I think in the City Hall. None of you guys were here. Raymond's my uncle. And at that point, we came up here to try to better our family business. And the Caparellis did everything possible they could do to make that not happen. Margie came up here and screamed like a banshee, told us what a bunch of scumbags we were in front of the board. And that's all on record. You can look that up if you wish. And I have a lot of public records here that I requested or demanded from the county. And there's some pretty damning evidence against them. One thing that is being said is on their application that they have submitted to you guys, whether I have it here, you have it regardless. On their site plan, they show that, or on their site plan, they're wanting to get, where they're wanting to get permitted to do this work is for the barn on the back of their property that's affecting my family. And they claim that barn at that time has been operated as a steel factory since the late 80s, early 90s. And I've loaded hay out of that barn that they're claiming has been a steel factory since the 90s, before I ever graduated high school and before the Caparelli boys were ever born. So the application where they're saying they've worked out of for 20-something years is not accurate. So they've lied on their application about that. And up until 17, even though they tried to put my family in a bind as hard as they could, I still worked with Ernie afterwards, drove a truck for him some. And as far up until recently as 17, I drove a dump truck for him to haul dirt to stabilize, or clay sand to stabilize their area for metal. And up until that point, that building still hadn't been used as a factory. The trees, it was a hay field, then they planted trees, and then it was some storage. And I have some sworn statements. And all of this I'd like to enter into evidence that comes from the county. But I have sworn statements from numerous different people I'd like to hand to you guys.
This is public comment. The public doesn't have the right to admit stuff to the right.
It was the attorney. He just said that the public's not able to enter in evidence.
Well, all right, well, whatever.
But no, you can still talk. You got.
And then we got.
Better start.
Yeah, I'm not going nowhere yet until you run me off. And there's the only electrical permit that they have is for the building immediately behind the residence, which used to be their fabrication shop. Mm-hmm. And I've hauled steel in and out of there for Ernie before, and that's the electrical permit that they got, that they applied for and never have received a CO on. It has nothing to do with the back building where they have three-phase. And there's 2 or 3 different Santa Fe Electric.
Mr. Chairman, you're going to have to enforce this.
Yeah, Mr. Howard, you're going to have to wrap it up. I said 3 minutes. I got to stick to it for everybody.
All right, yeah. 10-4.
You're welcome to pass that out. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to pass it out all over the.
I think we heard you. Yes, sir. Name and address.
Andrew Bass, 447 969th Road. Mm-hmm. I was in the same situation about 7 years ago in this county, and a neighbor came and complained about me, threatened to, sue the county, sue me, all these things about a business that I have. And I just want to say that, the county worked with me, and I'm super grateful for the county, and moved me out to the Catalyst site, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And, we prevented lawsuits from both sides. It worked together for the county and for the common good. And so all I want to say is that, there's got to be a middle ground that y'all can work together with. The middle ground is they move. I think they're willing to move. But y'all have to work with them on how they can get to move. They've been out of compliance, it sounds like, for a long time. So the only reason why this is getting brought today is because of because of this. I understand that. But the fact that because y'all brought it up doesn't change the fact that they need somewhere better to go. I think I can agree they need somewhere better to go, but you've got to be willing to let them go, and they can't just move that type of operation like that, it takes time. And so, you know, we have a catalyst site with a bunch of land and not a lot of businesses, and I would say that I can't see how the county wouldn't accept them and be happy for them to offer something to them where they can grow. I mean, that video was great. I mean, and to have that business in this county should be a great thing, y'all. I mean, this is good for the county. And so I have a heart for people in this county, and I just want y'all to know that we have to work together. We can't fight against each other. And whatever that middle ground is, I think the board's open to it. I think they're open to it, and I can just hope y'all can get open to it.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Name and address, please, sir.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dylan Adams, 212 North Marion Avenue, Suite 316. I feel that we really have kind of a couple of issues here. My partner and I have a consulting business. We handle LDR concerns, land entitlements all across the state of Florida and in southern Georgia. You probably know Tim Williams. He used to be a Suwannee resident. We closed off a road for him in a meeting that he sold his house not too long ago to a guy from Orlando. You know, if these guys have been operating this business, you got to look at the employment factors, economic impact, the taxes they pay, obviously have to be within regulation. Now, whether PFAS and dumping sewage smells worse than paint, I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight, right? Can I get my time back,
yes,
please?
Sir.
Thank you. So I don't have a dog in the fight, right? But to Commissioner Franklin's point, trying to work with an employer that has almost 100 employees in your county, it's probably a big thing, right? If Pilgrim's Pride messed up and didn't fill out the forms, you know, they're a multinational company, they would know better. These are local boys that spend local money. Whether or not people get along personally, we don't really care about that. It's about the facts. Mr. Meeks does a great job. Land use regulations in rural counties throughout Florida have holes in them the size of Arizona and the Grand Canyon. Columbia County is currently rewriting their LDRs using Kimley Horn to do so. We've had several workshops working on the gaps to try to fill them in. This is a perfect instance, right? We got family property. We're doing metal fab. We're employing 100 people. The neighbors don't like it. They're not a smelly good business either, right? But somebody's got to dump it somewhere. So DEP's obviously approved it, so they're not worried about PFAS or the nitrogen levels on their property, right? But the paint's going, right, or mist or whatever that is. So there needs to be a work through. And if Suwannee County wants to retain employers like that, I would recommend that. There are other counties that are in a rural nature, Baker, Nassau, Bradford, Putnam, that are finding workarounds in similar situations. But this is a large-scale manufacturer. They employ a lot of people in your county. And if you do have like a catalyst site, I'm not super familiar with a lot of things that Suwannee County offers, but if you do have a catalyst site or somewhere for them to relocate, it would probably behoove you to keep them and give them a stay of execution and figure out what we can do to have a win-win situation.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Name and address for the record.
George Turner, 23021 County Road 49. I adjoin the southeast part of the property in question. We're separated by the Cross Florida barge or the pipeline. And we sat before this commission also with him, and we were firmly against it. He did get a permit. He got approval for a truck, a spray field in an enclosed area. And over the past few years, it was supposed to be for Suwannee residential, if you'll look in your records. We have trucks going there from all over the county and from other counties. And they have on the side of their truck, commercial, residential. I don't know what happens in that property. I'm not allowed to go on the property, nor do I want to. I lived in Jacksonville. I've heard all the noise in the world. We moved out here where it was peaceful and quiet. But we hear the trucks, we hear the metal sound over there. We have right down from us a sand fill. He doesn't go 24/7, but he has bulldozers. Every time they back up, they make a noise. When these trucks come in, every time they back up, whatever they're doing in there, and I could name the companies, but I'd rather not go on record, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I think the noise is fine. I don't like the smell. I know what the smell is. I don't get any smell from there because I'm a little farther removed from it. But you guys agreed, you put it in, you gave him a temporary permit, one truck, family-run business, so we were quiet. So I don't see why you don't give the same consideration for these people over here. We gave it to them, we should give it to them. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Just name and address, please, sir.
Yeah, Rich Arman, 9341 178 Terrace, McAlpin. Right off, I got no skin in this game. But the thing I want to say is when I wanted to open my shop, Mr. Meeks can attest to it. That was back when Mr. Taylor was still around and Miss Marcy. And I had to go in front of these folks to get a permit, to have the shop before anything else happened. Y'all spent a shitload of money, excuse me, and you kind of got the cart ahead of the horse. You know, it doesn't make good business sense, but, you know, right is right and wrong is wrong, and they're operating out of compliance. That's where I'm at with it.
Thank you, sir. Name and address.
Gerard Gardner.
You don't have to do that. Name and address.
21207 45th Place, Lake City, Florida. My in-laws live right here. I go over the house a lot, spend a lot of time over there. I hear talking about waste and everything like that. I can promise you a chicken house smells a hell of a lot worse than what that smells like. And any one of y'all that have been around the country, you know it. So we can sit there and point that back and forth. But the fact of the matter is, all their stuff was done up front in front of you people, did it right, not after the fact. These people have went through hell for the last couple years, sat there and listened to these guys, sit there and take, I know you're sitting there smiling and laughing, but sit there, take their load with their beams, sitting there dropping them on top of other beams, shoving it, scraping it. You don't live across from that. And that building's a microphone aimed right at you, and that's all you hear. 21 years in the steel industry, where I work at, and it don't sound nothing like that. Sounds like it inside our building. You step outside, it don't sound like that. It ain't right to sit there and push these people back and forth. How long can they take it? You sit there and smile. You don't sit there and live there. That ain't right.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Trent Walker. I live at the corner of 49 and 132.
Yes, sir.
I've been in the steel business. My property is directly to the south, next to the Howard's property. If I want to grow crops, which that property, agriculture, I can't go out there and grow my crops, raise cattle, the chemicals in the air. I've been around the steel business. I know what it's like. There's ways. The business should have never been started there. They started it off a commercial fencing business license. Ain't nowhere near industrial. They talk about time to move the business. They've had ample time to move to the industrial area north of Live Oak. But have they? No. And some of y'all know why. But some of them people are no longer with the county. My family's been in this community for over 100 years. I could tell you the things they've done against me and my family and my property. But I'm not here pointing fingers. The business needs up and moved. They've had ample time to have done this, knowing the whole time operating illegally. And talk about Explosives? What runs through the middle of my property? Can anybody tell me that? And down the side, Mr. Howard's property. That Florida gas pipeline. Let a big explosion. Gas leak on that pipeline. Then what are you going to have? We're not trying to take away jobs. Move the business, move the jobs out there. You still got your job, but it ain't affecting our quality of life. And what this community has been for 100 years or longer that I know of. Thank you for your
Yes, sir. Thank you. Name
Aiden Macias, 549 Northwest Amanda Street, Lake City. So I'm actually one of the owners with the Caparellis and the Douglas. So I'm just speaking for the people for my team. So we have approximately, like we said, 100 employees.
Are you asked? I didn't mean to interrupt. You're asking. Are you asking for 7 minutes?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna speak for your team.
So I'm just speaking,
I wanted to be clear.
Just
okay.
for everybody on our.
You can have your 3 minutes start now. I ain't gonna take it from you.
There you go. So we're talking about 100 employees, an average 400 people we're feeding. This is going to affect them. We're not asking, as they said, we're not asking to stay there, even if it's just temporarily. We'll comply with what we need to comply with. We'll do whatever you guys are asking. You guys have dealt more with Ernie and Steven. I deal more with operations. My thing is to build and, make this county grow bigger. All right. There is this topic in regards to paint. I'm going to be more in the knowledge of the paint, dealing with DEP and all the other items. I also deal with all the paint vendors. The paint we use is not a paint, it's a primer. The primer dries within seconds. The dust storm you've seen in the video, we're going to call it a dust storm, it could have been dust or rain, is most likely lime rock. It is lime rock. We have gone, the neighbor has put up a fence, we have gone against the fence, we have looked at it multiple times, we have pieces of equipment on that side. If it was paint, it would have been all over our equipment. And I would have expected at least someone to say, hey, look, there's paint on my car, you need to come pay for it. We would have done the right thing. We would have looked at it, checked it out, sent it for inspection, we would have paid for it. But I'm telling you now, I deal with it. I'm still dealing with the DEP, going back and forth. Right now, so far, they've requested a couple things for me to do. Many of the vendors, there's multiple paint vendors, primer vendors, that can testify and say that that paint within seconds falls to the ground. So I understand, trust me, I understand the frustration. As we said, we'll do whatever is requested. If you say, hey, you got X amount of days, get your stuff in order, then by X day you got to be out, we'll do that. But we don't want to affect the employees that we're trying to feed and their families. They've been there with us, and we've had their back, they've had our backs, and we're trying to do whatever we can for them. So that's all I got to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Courtney Gardner. I am the daughter of Raymond and Diane Howard, and I live at 21207 45th Place, Lake City, Florida. I just want to start this off right here. I can hear that good. This is at nighttime. Now let me ask you a question. Could you live like this? Could you live like this 24/7, 7 days a week, and then expect to just be lenient? Oh, just give them a permit. How can you trust that they're even going to follow the rules of the permit when they ain't done the rules this many years? I can promise you, if every one of you had to sit there and watch your retired parents go through this right here, you'd be pissed and standing up here too. I'm asking you, there should be no more. No more. This should be shut down and moved out.
Alrighty, so I work for Suwannee Company.
What's your name, ma'am?
Name and address for the record.
My name is Summer Vaughn. My address is 127 Southeast Edwards Avenue, Mayo, Florida. I had a paper prepared, but I really do just want to start out with how, in this room of people right now, can you raise your hand if you either have benefited from the fact of Suwannee companies being there today and helping us all in any way, not just employed through Suwannee, but any way. Raise your hand if Suwannee Ironworks has helped you. And I don't like speaking publicly, so I'm a little nervous, I won't lie. But I come here and I plead this case with you all today and try to show you the impact and the good that Suwannee Ironworks has done to not only employees of Suwannee County, but myself, Mayo, Lafayette County, many people out there, Columbia County. This isn't just one business helping one community. This business alone helps 3, 4, 5 different communities spread across. We're not asking for favoritism. We're asking for you to grant us some lenience so we can get into compliance with what needs to be done in a temporary permit or whatever you want to call it. And we will move. That's not been a no in our case. We're just asking for some lenience to help the 80, 70, 60 families that this is gonna hurt if you shut us down right now. We're not asking for favoritism at all. We're asking for lenience to let our employers get the required temporary permit and do what is required temporarily, if that's the case, to be able to move this business so that we can all keep our lives on a regular standard base. We can all keep our families not struggling, and we can, I don't know how to put it, we need this business. I'm a mother. Many people are mothers and fathers out here. We're not asking to not move away. We're just asking for lenience so that we can all keep our jobs and our families will remain safe in this economy that we have right now. That's it.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Name and address.
Stephen Douglas, 1010 Southwest Suwannee Downs Drive. I work with Aiden and Ernie and the rest of these fine folks here over at Suwannee Ironworks. To be honest with you, a lot of the points that you've heard here tonight, they're the same things I was going to talk about, and Summer took my last good one right there. But gentlemen, make no mistake, we've got 100 employees. We are not just outside of striking distance of one of the top 10 employees in this county. And again, we're not asking for the world. But if this ends badly for us tonight, then this ends badly for 100 people. So I'm asking you to consider that in your considerations and give us a chance. I mean, goodness gracious, we're trying. We really are. I spent Labor Day away from my family canvassing the neighborhood trying to find somebody else that had a problem with me, and I couldn't run one down. But that's what I'm going for, right? Now, I'm not getting in. I'm not going to throw stones. I'm not throwing stones. I'm just telling you gentlemen here, I apologize for being emotional, but I got 100 families dependent on this place. We worked damn hard to get here, and we're trying to survive. So if we could just get the opportunity to, appreciate it. Thank you.
Who's next?
I guess I'm next.
Name and address.
Another Stephen Lakowski, 18484 McAlpin. I don't like any of them, to be honest. So I'm only going to speak on behalf of what type of employer that he is. So I started out as just a mechanic, going to help keep machines running and keep welders running, stuff like that, fix tools. But Ernie and his team allows people to express, grow professionally. Now I'm their maintenance manager. I have a team of 5. So I don't know what employees you have in your area that talk down to them and don't influence them, challenge them to help them grow. I mean, heck, I even help his sons. His sons come out there. What kind of blue-collar companies do we have here that are going to be family heirs later on in life? I hope Suwannee Iron Works is one of them, because I'm sitting there with Noah and little Ernie, and they're welding like some of our professional welders we have here, and they're not even 18 yet. They're help fixing tools. They're driving forklifts. Well, on days off. So, I mean, it just shows that there's growth there. I think this is a gray area. I think it's a personal vendetta. It's a gray area. I'm sorry this is happening. It sucks. I know it. Trust me. You want to work there when it's a northern wind? Trust me, you don't want to work there that day. So that's the best thing I could tell you. We've got a great employer in your county that obviously employs well over 100. I know we've heard a lot of numbers back and forth, but trust me, it's well over 100. And I came here from Fort Lauderdale wanting that fresh smell country air. Like the gentleman said earlier, well, they're all my friends. Like, how are you liking that nice country air from that city smog? Well, you haven't driven past a kill house or a chicken coop or a shit factory. Excuse my French. So we're all growing, and we're trying to keep it as country as possible so we don't look like Fort Lauderdale in 20 years. And I think Suwannee Iron Works is doing their share because they're employing people that are in this county, as well as other counties like Summer mentioned. So if you want to give some lenience and figure out a common ground, as the other gentleman said, I think that's the best way. Because neighbors is just like a marriage. We got to compromise. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I got one more coming, looks like. Yes, sir. Name and address.
Sorry about that. Steve Ash, 123 Southwest Daytona Way. I'm an employee of these guys. I'm brand new. 30 years at the VA. I left and retired and thought, I got to find somebody good. I went around looking, came upon these guys. Can't ask for a better company. They do what they say. You ask them for something, they'll comply. I'm only standing up here for one reason. The legality of this is we need permits, we need this, we need that, do this, don't do that. Name it. We want to do it, whatever it is. We don't want to move. Nobody wants to move, but if we have to, we have to. If we can stay and build a wall, build something tall, build it wide, do whatever, just ask us. All we want is a chance to serve this community and all the families that work for us. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
My name's Crystal Avery. I live at 22.
You can pull it down. There you go.
Crystal Avery, 22694 County Road 49. I'm hearing, and I'm emotional too, so I don't mind my hand shaking. I'm hearing all about how wonderful this company is that's brought so much growth and jobs to this county, but everybody's failing to realize they did it all illegally. No permits, nothing. They're completely illegal. One electrical permit in the very beginning for the little shop behind their house. That big shop in the back is not legal. It's not permitted, and the zoning is not is for agriculture, not for that. And y'all need to decide on this too, because other people's lives hang in the balance. Mine does, ours does. And if they're allowed to build and grow this enormous company right there with no permits, nothing legal, what does that say to anybody else that wants to just, hey, we're going to do this? I mean, they don't have to follow the rules. Why should anybody else? I mean, I don't understand that. My family followed the rules. They jumped through every hoop. They did every permit. They came to every meeting. They did everything they were supposed to do. They're a legal business, and people are bashing them when they done everything right, and then they just blow in and do what the hell they want without any approval or zoning.
Respect.
Or respect, yes, that's another thing. They want to act like this great business, oh, we're family oriented. That's why they torture their neighbors. They do. They built that shop facing their home, blasting that noise and scraping of metal and clashing right at their home. They put up a privacy fence so they wouldn't have to look at it. Well, now they're called idiots and morons because that ain't going to block the noise. That's what they said, not me. My family deserves respect. They did everything the right way. Everybody else should have to do things the right way, and they don't deserve any special anything because they don't follow the rules anyway. So why should they get anything special? I'm sick of it. This has gone on long enough for years, and they've not complied with anything because they don't have to. They don't have to. So please, do something about this.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Name and address.
My name is Whitney Smithy, 414 Southwest Mulberry Drive in Lake City. My aunt and uncle are Raymond and Diane. We spend a lot of time over visiting, holidays. Easter of last year was a joke to try to go outside and hunt Easter eggs just with our kids because you've got the noise. You guys obviously were working on Labor Day trying to get people to support you guys, so Easter was no exception, right? When you guys wake up in the morning and you want to go out and you want to sit on the porch and have a cup of coffee, you want to do that in peace, right? You go home at the end of the day, you want to wind down. You've had a long day at work. You guys work hard. I get it. Where's the peace? Where's the peace for them when they've worked all day? Where is their time to decompress, enjoy dinner? They don't have that. You all talk about your employer. They're great. They do all these wonderful things. They employ, they have many families that are dependent upon that. I wouldn't say I would want to tear that down, and this is my family. But there are rules in place that no one is an exception from. We're all expected to follow the rules, no matter what it is. Getting a driver's license. We teach those things to our children. But at the end of the day, if something happens and they say, shut it down, go get things done the right way, and then come back into play or move or whatever the case may be that they put in play for you guys, you can thank your employer for that when you're upset that these things haven't happened because those things weren't, the proper channels weren't followed. The proper rules, the permits and everything that are supposed to be done, they weren't done. So where I can understand, I can even sympathize to a degree. But to blame or beg for special consideration, that should have happened from day one. That should have happened in the beginning. That's it.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Name and address, please, sir.
Yeah, Russ Padgett, 14475 193rd Road. I've been at these meetings before. I've seen Mr. Meeks and his committee and this county commissioners shove businesses down our throat that I don't think we needed. Here we have a business that is thriving in Suwannee County, and you all want to take and destroy it. And I just think that you need to look at what's best for Suwannee County in general. I mean, some of the businesses that you guys have approved, I haven't agreed with, and I don't buy from them. But yet we have somebody here that has a viable business, is here in Suwannee County, and is helping Suwannee County, and everybody wants to try to tear it down.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Jason Maurer, 23492 U.S. Highway 129, O'Brien. I came before Ronald Meeks about 23 years ago and asked for a permit to build a welding shop. I was allowed 2,500 square feet. I went through the whole legal process, did everything right. Was told 2 or 3 years later I wasn't allowed to expand. But yet you let them build this. Where's the tax bill? Have they paid taxes on these buildings? I don't think so. Where's our property appraiser? Has our property appraiser closed his eyes when he goes out there? I pay taxes on everything on my place, but they build a building like that and don't pay any taxes? Who gave them the permit to put power out there? I had to go through Ronald Meeks and through the building department to put power in my shop. How did they get power? 3-phase power. I don't have 3-phase power. Why were they allowed to get 3-phase power without a building permit? Sounds like some real crooked stuff going on in the county somewhere. It's not right. I mean, I've held my business back to a small operation primarily with agricultural repair like I was required. Wasn't allowed to expand, but yet they step in with no permit and build this monstrosity of a business. And y'all closed your eyes for years. Y'all knew it was there. Franklin, you knew it was there. Did nothing about it. A lot of you knew it was there. And where's Ricky Gamble? Is he here? How many times has he gone out there to do a property appraisal and just closes his eyes? I pour a little piece of concrete, he comes in and writes me up, and I got to pay taxes on it. Go back and look at their tax bill and back tax them for all that. It's not right. You know? Not right at all. And why do I have to do it? But I can tell you tonight, if you allow them to continue, I'll be back to expand. You gonna tell me no? You can't tell me no if you tell them it's okay. And I'll be back to get mine. I can promise you. That's all I got.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Last call. Name and address.
Ernie Caparelli, 22618 County Road 49. I know there's a lot of throwing back and forth about permits and all this stuff. You guys know that we did pull permits for the shop. We got 3-phase power there. The only way Suwannee Valley would ever put power there is with permits. Matter of fact, we had to submit engineering to the Suwannee Valley just to even build a big enough system to bring in there. So everybody knows what we have. Always known what we had. The economic development for Suwannee County used to use our business for part of bringing the economic growth into Suwannee County. Unfortunately, I'm a pretty good business person. I grew the business a lot bigger than what you guys ever expected the business to grow. I never even expected the business to grow this big. We brought in the right people to help grow a business. We grew it. It is what it is. Now that we've grown so big, we're wanting to expand. We're wanting to add more employees. The only way to do that is to expand it out and grow it even bigger. Where we're at, we're not going to sit and argue and fight about trying to expand it and grow it where it's at, because we know that's not going to happen. We're willing to move to an industrial site. If Suwannee County wants us, we're willing to talk to Suwannee County to move to that site. That's not an issue, but we have to stay alive to move to that site. If not, we have to get back up and punt. Then all the other counties that are looking for somebody, Taylor County, I mean, my goodness, they're going bankrupt now because they lost their main employer. Is that what Suwannee County wants to do, is run employers off? We are a locally grown company. We are born and bred right here in the county. We've just grown bigger than what the board thought we would grow. We've grown bigger than what we thought we would grow. We're just trying to continue to move forward. How much money does the economic development spend every year on bringing businesses into the county? Would it look great on the economic development catalog saying, hey, we've chased the businesses out of the county that we've tried to grow here? Absolutely not. So why don't we work together to figure out how we could stay here and continuously grow and continuously provide more jobs that we're providing. Do we pay industrial tax? Absolutely. If you look at the tax roll, it shows it right there on our building. We pay industrial tax on that building. Yes, property appraiser comes out every time we do something. My God, we get taxed on it. I mean, it's right there, public record. You could see it. So all I'm asking, if you guys don't like where we're at, let's figure a game plan. If you want us to stay in Suwannee County, we're willing to talk to you to stay in Suwannee County. If not, we'll pick our bags up and move. So,
all right, y'all keep your comments to yourself. Keep everybody be respectful. You good? Are you done? Okay. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Last call. I'm closing public comment.
Can we take a break?
Yeah, y'all need a break. We're going to take a 3-minute recess really quick. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Back to order. Hopefully everyone had a chance to use the restroom. Okay. Before we have board discussion, we are going to let the rebuttals go. Mr. Flagg, where's Mr. Flagg? Mr. Flagg, I'll start with you, then I'm going to go Mr. Reeves, and then we'll let Ms. Pierce go last. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If it pleases the commission, I'll go ahead and I'll try to be as brief as I can. It's a long night. I do just want to say, on behalf of my clients that, Suwannee Iron Works is to be congratulated for creating a good business, a productive business. Obviously, in these times, we want to see American manufacturing happen. However, when you come into this town, like I did today from Gainesville, you see a mural. It says, "Protect our Constitution." And what struck me about that mural was this is a community that's grounded in the law. And each of you all know that when you got elected as commissioners, you took an oath to uphold the law, to uphold the Constitution. And tonight, that's what this is about. This is about a property owner business that is applying for a type of zoning approval, which we call a special permit under your land development code. And your professional staff and your legal counsel here has advised you that it just doesn't fit. And for the record, my clients, the Howards, adopt and incorporate the exact same legal arguments and conclusions and positions and opinions that your county staff has made to you tonight in the interest of time so that I don't have to repeat all of that argument. We are right in step and lock with their exact same legal arguments. The unfortunate thing for Suwannee Iron Works is their business just doesn't fit on this type of zoning. It's not permitted. It's also inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. Us lawyers, day one in real estate law, we learn a Latin phrase called caveat emptor. You all probably have heard it. It means buyer beware. It means and everybody in this country, everybody in the state of Florida, when you go to buy a house, when you go to buy a piece of property, caveat emptor, you better check out what the land rights that come with that piece of property. What are the title issues? What's the zoning? What are you allowed to do on that property? And it happens. It's part of why I'm a land use attorney, because I get hired by people who run into these kinds of situations where they get going with a good business and they don't have the right zoning, and the local government steps in and says, sorry, but the law is the law. And I just want to remind folks tonight that the reason we're here is not because the Howards are making complaints, which, by the way, that's their right. They have property rights. They've been there for decades. They've been following the law. They have the right to make complaints when there are nuisance-type activities affecting their life every single day and night and impacting their health. Whatever happens tonight, I can guarantee you that there will be further close looks at what type of legal action can be taken by them for their health and their property values and their property rights. It's not a threat to the county, but the reason we're here tonight is because somebody else, a different company that owns land, is coming before the county commission to say, we're asking for forgiveness rather than permission. And so that's the unfortunate position that we're all in. It's not the county's fault. It's not the Howard's fault. This looks like a good company to me. I come into this town and I see a divided community. And it's a shame because you do have some entrepreneurs and you have some hard workers. What needs to happen is this application should be withdrawn, because what I hear is that the applicant is saying, we're willing to move. Sounds to me like they're conceding. They're willing to move. They recognize that they don't have the right zoning and it's going to be difficult to get the right permit. Withdraw the application, get with county staff, and everybody help this business find the right property with the appropriate zoning. Thank you all.
Mr. Reeves.
Again, a few brief comments. I do want to follow what Mr. Flagg said, is that when you are a property owner and you acquire a piece of property, it is your responsibility to go make yourself aware of what the zoning and the land use is. You don't get to buy it and say, well, I didn't know, and so now government, you have to change it for me. You're supposed to know that, and everybody understands that. In this case, though, it's not even that scenario. They've had the property, and they were first notified of a problem 18 months, 12 months ago. That was when these discussions about, well, we need to try to work something out, something temporary and all of that, that's when those discussions should have taken place, when they were first notified. Not basically saying they weren't going to do anything until the county finally brought the enforcement action. I think, too, one, and again, like I said, it'll be brief. One of the things that you've got to ask yourself when you're looking at this, so there are certain parts of this that are specific to the property. Is it compatible? Is there proper access? All of that. That's specific to the property. There's certain parts of this, though, that you're deciding how these LDRs are going to be interpreted from now on. Because as a governmental body, you have to have objective criteria that are consistently interpreted. Now, what opposing counsel is inviting you to do is to say, well, manufacturing, as long as it's no more intense than paper and pulp manufacturing, it's allowed, right? You just look at these special uses, and if what you're being asked to do is no more intense, it ought to be granted. The problem with that is, gentlemen, if you grant this one, what are you going to turn down? What are you going to deny? All they're saying is that if it's less intense than paper and pulp manufacturing, well, then it's okay and it ought to be allowed. This is metal fabrication. It has nothing to do with rural. It has nothing to do with agriculture. It has nothing to do with any of that. And if you say yes today, when the next guy comes in, when this other gentleman comes in and says, well, now my welding shop, I want a special permit, and it can be 60,000 square feet, and then we'll do whatever. How are you going to say no to that? That's the problem you've got, is you have an obligation to construe your land development regulations in a consistent manner, and you treat everybody the same. And that's, and I'll just leave you with that. If you say yes to this one, who are you saying no to?
Ms. Pierce.
Thank you. You heard from both attorneys that, caveat emptor and et cetera. This use existed before the LDRs and before the comp plan. It's been in existence for 40 years. It predates any zoning. It was permitted by right on the property, and it started there, and it has continued to grow. This use is consistent with your comprehensive plan and your land development regulations. The use is, and your standard is it similar and compatible with the character of the district? It is. We read to you all of the other uses that are not ag-related. Things like drive-throughs, hospitals, or not drive-throughs, drive-in theaters, hospitals, C&D landfills. So this use can be considered as similar with the character of the district. And that's the standard that you're held to. This board has the power to grant this special exception. It's unfortunate, but it's clear that there are ongoing disputes between Suwannee Iron Works and the Howards. It sounds like it's about a 20-year grudge. But regardless, I'm asking the board to look past this dispute between the neighbors. There's no reason that these two businesses cannot both operate. Both businesses provide economic benefits to the county, both provide services to the county, and they should be able to coexist. One of the things that you keep hearing is that they knew all along. So I'm going to submit to the record the order to comply warning notice that was issued to our clients on July 16th, 2025, the first written notice that came to our clients, and then the notice of noncompliance that was issued on July 29th, 2025. And I would point out on page 3 of that notice, it tells us we have to apply for a special use permit. So I want to know what changed. This came on July 29th.
Ruling on my objection, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This came on July 29th.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. So what's happened is he's objecting, saying she's trying to admit stuff into the record, and we're in the argument. And Mr. Reeves' objection is that we are in the argument phase. You don't get to admit new evidence. You have to base it on the record that exists now. And so since this is argument time, if this were a courtroom, that'd be an appropriate objection, but it's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
These are county documents. I'm asking you to either accept them or take notice of them.
I'm not going to accept them because they are county documents and they are public record.
They are public records.
And you maybe should have submitted those earlier, so I'm going to go with Mr. Reeves on this one, only because they are public record and they are, I think staff and everyone else is aware of those.
Okay. I would point out that we got our noncompliance on July 29th. It tells us to apply for a special permit. We applied by August 21st, 2 weeks later. We are doing what we were told to do by the county, and now we're being told, oh, no, you can't get a special permit. You don't, it doesn't apply. So what has changed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, time for discussion for the board.
The part we've all been waiting for. Board discussion. That's where we're at. Questions, comments, concerns? I think you've heard Mr. Flagg, you've heard Ms. Pierce, you've heard Mr. Reeves, you've heard Mr. Meeks, you've heard the public. What I'd like to say is I'll go out on a limb and talk first. I'm good at y'all sawing it off behind me. So I wish there was a way that everybody could win here. And I've said this to several people on the phone over the last 4 days. And I've heard comments say, I spent Labor Day on my phone because of this issue. So I think we all got some skin in the game on this particular issue. But I wish there was a way for everybody to win here. I don't know where that win's at, and I don't know that that's even achievable since we're here. I don't know about the dispute. Obviously, there is one. We've heard bits and pieces. That's none of my business. My business is trying to interpret these LDRs as they were written by a previous board, which is what we've asked staff, Mr. Meeks, to enforce and go through. Do I want to lose 100 jobs, Mr. Caparelli? Hell no, I don't. Do I think you should have built a business as big as what you've built in an agricultural area? Probably not. But do I want you to stay in Suwannee County, and do I care about the 100 families that your business feeds? 1,000% I do. Unfortunately, I'm sitting up here today and got to make a really tough decision with these other 5 guys, and it ain't gonna be easy. It ain't gonna be easy. I hear the Howards. I understand them. I mean, I'm a property rights guy too. I think you should be able to do within reason what you want to do on your property, as long as it doesn't affect their well-being and their livelihood on their property. Where's that line, guys? I mean, I think I think that's kind of where we're at. I wish it was the easy way to say, here's what we can do and everybody wins. I don't see where everybody wins tonight.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hale.
And I don't know which attorney to answer, but and maybe the ask, I don't know the ask, is the ask to come in, and I keep saying, hearing we'll move, we'll do this, we'll do that. Is it to move and then come into compliance, or to try to come into compliance now and then have a plan to move? I mean, I'm just not understanding all that. And then, double side, I want to hear, if you don't mind, from you, the legalities of that. I'm not real clear on what, as a board, we are legal to do.
So the plan would be to get the special permit, which is step one, get the electrical permit, get the building permit, get what other permits that we need according to the county. All at the same time, finding property, purchasing property, selling this property. We're going to have to build a building. We're going to have to get permits for it. Even if it's in your industrial area, we're still going to have to get building permits, electrical permits, et cetera. Build the buildings, move all the equipment, move all the people, which we figure is probably about a 2-year time period. So it would be get our special permit, that is step one, get this property into compliance, getting all the permits, and at the same time, because it can run simultaneously, start the moving process.
Commissioner Hale, you wanted the legalities from Mr. Reeves?
Yeah, you have a chance to answer my question as well. Like I said, I'm just trying to get the gist of it all.
I think the point of their ask, though, is they want to keep operating in the meantime. I think that's very problematic because, number one, this board doesn't control the Florida Building Code. It doesn't control the certificate of occupancy under the Florida Building Code. Without that certificate of occupancy and building permits, they're not allowed to operate today. And so that's one of the issues is if they're trying to get this board to say you may keep operating while we try to get those permits, no, sir, that's not legal. But also, please remember, there's no reason for them to ask for a temporary permit, and this is what I mean. If they comply with all the requirements, they'd be entitled to a permanent permit, right? If the only reason to try to get a temporary permit is they don't really comply with all of those requirements. And so this temporary versus permanent doesn't help out because you would still have to decide all of those requirements. You've got to decide, do they fit within those two provisions? Is this the type of thing that's allowed by special permit? You've got to decide, is it compatible? You've got to do all of that for temporary or permanent. So if you're going to decide all that, they don't need a temporary permit.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Reeves, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So, dumb it down. So what you just said, if I heard it right, if this board says, hey, we'll give you a temporary use permit, then what we've said is in these LDRs, that is a legitimate business and it falls within the LDRs to be able to qualify to get that temporary use permit.
You said it meets the requirements for a special permit in the A1 zone.
Right.
If you grant a temporary or a permanent permit.
Okay. And if they are granted a temporary, then they should be entitled to, if I heard you right, a permanent one.
They're the same requirements, yes.
Right. So, and if they are entitled to a permanent special one, does this board have the authority to put a time limit on that special permit?
Well, they've said, yeah, we'll accept it. So you certainly would have
it would be a special condition?
Yeah, you can put that special condition. But the issue is, again, Mr. Chairman, they're not entitled to it. What I'm trying to point out to you is the reason they're doing the fallback to give us a temporary one is they don't meet these requirements. That's the whole point of it. And if they don't meet the requirements, they're not entitled to either one.
Understood.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Flagg. Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Mr. Chair. I agree with Mr. Reeves, but I just got to remind the commission that what's before you tonight is an application for a special permit. That's what's on the agenda. That's what's to be voted on. If there is some modification of the application being proposed tonight, I think that puts the cart before the horse, and tonight's application should be withdrawn. Code enforcement should do its job, and in the meantime, the property owner should figure out these plans that are being proposed tonight.
Commissioner White, your mic's not on.
Is there any situation here where they can be given time to move from that place? Legally, otherwise, I don't know. I'm just asking. Yes, sir. Or any of you. I'm not a lawyer, so I'll listen to any of you.
Mr. Reeves.
If this board finds that they fit within those two criteria that are set out in the LDRs and they meet those other criteria in the LDRs that Mr. Meeks has said they do not, if you find that, they can be given a special permit. That special permit doesn't entitle them to keep operating. That special permit is one of the requirements for their certificate of land use compliance, which they do not have. It doesn't give them a certificate of occupancy under the Florida Building Code. So let's say you granted that tonight, they wouldn't be allowed to keep operating because they don't have those other permits. But so your question was, is there circumstances they can be allowed to keep operating? I don't believe so, because even if you found all of those things were met and the special permit was appropriate, they'd have to be shut down while they're trying to comply with the building code and all of those, get the Suwannee River permit, all of that kind of stuff.
But may I add,
Ms. Pierce.
He's correct. We would need to get a special permit, and then we have to get these other permits. And right now, we have been shut down. So we are working as quickly as we can to try and get these, but step one is getting the special permit. So yes, we would need to get these other permits. Yes, you can condition a special permit however you feel is appropriate, but we can't move forward at all. We can't operate tomorrow or the next day or the next day until we get all of these things. And step one to all of that is getting a special permit.
Ms. Pierce, can I ask you, does your client have any of their Suwannee River water management permits for septic or stormwater runoff?
So the septic and the well predate. They've been there forever. So we have had a septic inspection. It's in your notebook. It says it's compliant. We have had a engineer look at, again, these are all in your notebook. We've had an engineer look at the building, say it's safe. We had the former fire marshal for the city of Jacksonville inspect the building, say it meets all the fire code. We had an electrician say it meets all the electrical code. So if we get the special permit, then we can immediately try and apply for those permits. As far as stormwater goes, we consulted with an engineer who said, because of the size of the property in the building, it's unlikely that we would need a permit, but we would need to confirm that with the Water Management District. We would have to get that in writing. So again, step one is the special permit. Steps 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all of those other things, which can't occur until step one happens.
So the septic system is currently permitted?
Well, it predates its grandfather. It predates permitting.
Mr. Maurice.
If I can, one of the problems that you've got is there's a difference between what's very, very important and what's relevant. It's very, very important that you have an employer and have a business and all of that. It's not relevant, though, to the criteria you've got in the LDRs. So this business will be shut down because they have not gotten all of the permits. That is absolutely right. We have lots of jobs. That's not one of the criteria here. You have, your LDRs have criteria. They have to meet these criteria. It's an existing business. It's not one of those criteria.
I understand. I asked about the permits, Ms. Pierce, due to time. If more were needed, what kind of time? I'm familiar with some of the time.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Flagg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I happen to be a former attorney with the St. Johns River Water Management District. I can tell you that kind of operation would be required to go to the Water Management District to get a stormwater engineering permit to address stormwater. To my knowledge, they haven't got that yet. I haven't been given a copy of the notebook. I haven't seen it, what the contents of it, but just for the record, I do object to that being entered into evidence, because to the extent that it contains statements or opinions by people who were not here to testify tonight under oath, I would object to that for the record, for that being considered competent, substantial evidence in the event that my clients want to appeal any decision tonight.
Whatever, were you talking about the complaints? Because we didn't take those.
Mr. Chairman, it's already been admitted. It's too late.
I'm just making an objection for the record so that it's preserved for the record.
I'm not a judge. I guess I am tonight, but I'm not a judge. Commissioner White.
You do this all the time, correct?
Well, I practice land use and environmental law all over the state of Florida. I represent some small municipalities in Florida. I also represent private property owners.
Have you run into this situation before?
Yes, often. In fact, I represent a client down in Levy County who was operating a type of business that on a piece of agricultural land that did not have the right zoning, and their business was not allowed by right. The result there was we worked with the county to amend the land use code to allow their type of business to actually operate within the county, but it still didn't work out to where they could stay on the property where they live and operate their business. They're having to move.
So while you're out there, that's the point I'm trying to get to here. How did you accomplish that?
Well, that's a complicated question, Mr. Chair. It's a good question. It required working with the county government, and it took a willing client, my client, to want to work with the county government to submit an application to amend the land development code, which is a legislative process.
Were they still operating while you were doing all this?
They're under a pending code enforcement complaint with pending code enforcement action coming.
So is that a yes?
Well, it's code enforcement with, at the same time, a legislative action.
I'm just trying to, I'm not a lawyer, man. I'm just a business guy. I'm just trying to figure out a win-win for everybody here. We got people here. We got the Howards. I know they got issues. I'm just trying to make it work for everybody. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I know it's a tough job. You know, my father was the mayor of Gainesville when I was a kid, and he was a state legislator, and I grew up with it. That's why I do not want to run for office. It is not easy to make a vote on something like this because you cannot split the baby.
That's right.
And, you know, again, I just go back to my comment about driving into this town and seeing the mural, protect our Constitution, and then thinking immediately, this community is grounded in the law. You got a law. You have the law for a reason. The law's got to be applied across the board. If it's not applied equally to one business versus another, you have favoritism, or you have accusations of favoritism. And then the community starts to lose faith in its government. And if we don't apply our laws, and if we don't follow our laws, the community loses faith in its government. And then what do we have? It's a tough call.
Any other questions, board members? Commissioner Hale.
I'm just hearing all sides, just thinking outside the box like every one of you guys. I am no attorney. I don't even know how we got put in this position. Part of the job, I guess. But is there things we could do? And I'm just going to throw this out there. Like, say, yep, we'll give you the special whatever, granted that you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Something like that. I mean, something to try to work with the other parties that are having issues, but also not to put them completely out of business and these families completely out of work. Is what I'm asking. I don't know how all this works. I don't know what
You're asking Mr. Reeves?
Yes, I am. Correct, yes.
What you're describing, you can't do unless you first decide that they meet all of the relevant criteria in the land development code. So you'd have to say that they meet one of those two sections would allow them to apply, and then you'd have to decide that they meet the criteria for such a permit, that's what Mr. Meeks gave his report on and said they didn't meet. Now, if you decided that they met all of that, then yeah, you could put in some restrictions and some conditions and all of that. But you got to get to that. You got to get past those first criteria, and that's what they can't do.
If you turn to page 1 of the notebook that we handed out, 14.6.1.1, paren 3 says the Board of County Commissioners shall have the power to grant special permits with appropriate conditions and safeguards, or to deny special permits when they would not promote the public health, safety, morals, order, comfort, convenience, appearance, prosperity, or the general welfare. So you can condition a special permit in any way that you believe is appropriate.
And, Mr. Chair, on behalf of the Howards, we totally object to that because the type of use that's ongoing right now is simply not permitted in that zoning category. So you can't have a special permit.
So I think what I've heard is number one, we have to find that their current use meets one of these criteria that's allowable under A1 before you could even consider any special conditions about hours of operation or paint booths or berms or anything like that.
Yes, sir.
Answer y'all's question?
No, not really.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Perkins.
You know, it is a tough situation. And, you know, in considering the fate of our department, the zoning, the building department, land use, and then hearing all I'm hearing here from the attorneys and different ones here, trying to, making sense of it is that if they're not in compliance already, and I hope you help me out, so I'm kind of thinking out loud to, I guess, trying to derive to something here. But anyway, that they're not in compliance already, so how can we grant a special permitting to give them time to continue to work? And I do feel for these people. I know they need jobs, they got their people, and want to keep them working. I agree with that. And then myself being as a contractor as well, I know, and the proper going through these permits, and so trying to give them that, and then to find a happy medium in there, but at the same time, listen to our people that we have in office saying, well, the zoning, the building departments, and they have not met that criteria, then to go do something over them and in our LDRs, I just can't find nowhere to be able to say here we can do, and on the advice of these attorneys, it's kind of scary. So I don't know if we can move forward. So if you understand what I'm saying, am I right what you're talking about? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I think you've got lots of stuff going on here. You've got lots of interests. You've got lots of things that are very important. What's material, though, and what's relevant is, do they comply with the land development regulations? And they don't. And they don't fit within because the ultimate issue that you guys are going to have to make a motion second to vote on is whether or not to grant this application, right? You can grant it, deny it, grant it with conditions. And so in order to grant the application, you've got to find they meet these written criteria and this LDRs, and they simply don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then listen to from our departments, and then hearing them, and then looking at the LDRs, it's simply not there. Okay.
I think, and I'll get you just a second, Mr. Mullen. So what you're saying is if there's a motion to approve it, with that will have to come, which one of these criteria did the board find it met? Because you're talking about interpreting.
Almost. If there is a motion to approve, you've got to find that they met all of the criteria under the compatibility and all of that, and then you've got to say which of those two provisions in the special permit rule they fall under. Yes, sir, you have to give all of that.
And if a motion to deny is, they didn't meet the criteria.
They didn't meet the criteria, and you can certainly base it on Mr. Meeks' report. You could say for the reasons.
For the reasons in the staff report.
Yes, sir.
I'm just asking you for options. Commissioner Mobley.
My question was, if you made a motion to approve or the special permit, that would
later on lead us to be in a lawsuit with somebody else that comes the next time and the next time, right?
Well, it's very hard to say whether or not you're going to get a lawsuit. What I can tell you, though, is you're required to interpret your plan consistently. You're not supposed to change interpretations of your plan based upon who's applying. If you want to change your plan, you'd have to amend it through the ordinance amendment process.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there is a risk if the next guy that comes in and they wanted the same kind of thing and you said no, are you interpreting your plan consistently? That would certainly be a question.
Yes, sir. As a Ag 1 business owner myself, I've tried to ask before for a special permit, and it didn't go too good for me.
So I think one of the important things to kind of point out is that, that's why we had a distinguishing difference between your agricultural land use and your industrial land use, because the use specifically falls within the allowable uses within an industrial district. However, we don't have a usage in an industrial district that's comparable to what they do. So we don't have anything in an industrial district right now that's as intense of the job that they do. So it's very hard to try to make that fit in an agricultural area. And of course, most of our county being zoned agricultural and having a land use classification throughout the county that's so broad in agricultural, it's kind of hard to isolate one piece of property and treat it differently than you would any other piece of property. So essentially, if you're approving a special permit, you're saying that type of usage really could go anywhere in Suwannee County in an A1 district. And that's one of the things that we've struggled with. We understand the importance behind the decision and everything that goes with the request. However, that's why we tried to specifically address and stick to what is listed under your agricultural areas and that are comparable and compatible with those agricultural districts, and then also show you what's compatible and allowable within the industrial use. And I think that specifically what they do is an industrial usage. And I'm just worried that you would then set a precedent in moving forward of trying to establish a baseline of an industrial district that's permissible throughout Suwannee County in an A1.
Back against the wall. Any other questions of the board? One thing we can't do tonight is nothing. I've been told that. So unless y'all have any more questions, we need to consider a motion to approve or a motion to deny the application.
One more question.
Yes, sir. Commissioner White.
I got one too, Mr. Chairman.
You got paper and pulp manufacturing there. That's about as industrial as it gets right there. So why are you saying that's allowable, but this is not?
I would think that you're primarily dealing with an agricultural product and commodity in a paper and pulp manufacturing business.
A silvicultural product anyway.
I mean, I get that, but we know what they do with it when they get it. I mean, it's a...
And I'm not trying to be cute here. The difference is this isn't pulp and paper. What they did was they listed out specific things that were allowable. They didn't list out metal manufacturers.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hale, you had a question?
Yeah, and so kind of on the heels of that, I was going to ask what the metal product that you're manufacturing is used for.
So they use the metal in stairways, local development. They use it at Disney World. They use it at NASA. They use it building Amazon buildings. You name it, it goes from small to large buildings, construction.
Yeah, I guess if I may, can I ask another question? Is it specific? I'm trying to find, is it specific to agriculture, like a red iron building or something of that nature?
No, but neither is a drive-in theater or a hospital.
I got you. Okay. I'm just thinking metal and metal buildings and things of that nature. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, guys, y'all can ask as many questions as you want until you're comfortable and make a decision. I ain't trying to rush anybody, so if you got any questions, fire away. We'll stay here all night until y'all are comfortable. But we have to make a decision at some point tonight.
It's just gut-wrenching to me that you got two neighbors and you got two good businesses there and they don't get along, and I get it. And can I please speak? And It's just sad that you got to sit here and make a decision of which one lives and which one dies, because that's basically what's fixing to happen.
Well, and Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Hill.
I want to do what's lawful, what's right. And also, and again, I know you've said it, Mr. Reed, but it's not, or one of y'all said, not who's in the room and what it's about. It's about upholding whatever, but it's a very tough decision. It is a very tough decision. But I don't know what to do. Just be honest.
Commissioner Perkins, Commissioner Mobley, y'all got any more questions?
No. I don't.
Well, it's my job to run the meeting, guys, unfortunately. So we can't sit here and stare at each other. I'm gonna ask, do we have first I'm gonna ask, do we have a motion to approve? And if I don't hear one, I'm gonna ask if we have a motion to deny the application. So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
yes, sir, Mr. Morrison.
And just to reiterate what the chairman said, but just for the board, not making a motion is not an option on this pursuant to statute. So there has to be some action taken tonight.
Okay, so first I'll ask, do I have a motion to approve the application for special permit?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hale?
I was going to ask a question before you ask that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm asking my board, because we can do it if you don't say it in a public meeting, it ain't said, right?
That's exactly right. If you don't say it in a public meeting, it didn't get said.
Do you guys, I'm asking my constituents, do you guys feel like we have enough information here to make a decision like this? I'm just asking.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
I think I got enough information here to make a decision. I think that whatever decision we make is not going to be popular with somebody, and I don't know what that decision is. And I think that everybody in this room is looking for a decision tonight, so they know
and
what
where
they got to do.
I continue to get confused, just so everybody knows, and I'm struggling with this in my head, is even if we gave a temporary, and from what I understand you two saying, they still can't run their business because they're not in compliance. Is that what I'm hearing?
You have no certificate of occupancy for the building that has been built. You have no certificate of completion for the electrical work that has been done. So there is no legal occupancy that has been completed that they can operate their business out of today or tomorrow or the following day. That doesn't exist. There's no, you have an industrial business that has no certificate of occupancy behind it.
Any more questions, board members?
Sorry.
Any more questions, guys? All right, I'm going to ask the question. Do I have a motion to approve the special permit request? Do I have a motion to deny the special permit request? Yes, we'll see.
Motion to deny.
I got a motion to deny the special permit.
I'll second it.
Have a second to deny the special permit by Commissioner Mobley. The motion to deny was by Commissioner White. We'll do a roll call vote.
You have to have reasons. So if it's for what Mr. Meeks put in the report.
Is it due to Mr. Meeks' staff report?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Yes. So motion to deny based on Commissioner White based on staff's report. And a second by Commissioner Mobley, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Hale, how do you vote?
Based on,
yay or nay?
I'm going to say I'll have to deny based on the information. I mean, I hate it, but
Commissioner White, you're a deny.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
I deny it based on from hearing from the zoning, building, and land use.
Understood. Commissioner Mobley, you were a deny?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to vote to deny as well. The special permit has been denied 5-0.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I've got a proposed order here which cites as the reasoning and attaches the staff report for both parcels.
Okay. So we're going to close this public hearing. We have more business that is not related to this topic to conduct. So what do I need to do with these, Mr.?
Those are Mr. Chairman, you need to enter an order of denial, and that's the order of denial. And it's two applications, so it's both parcels.
So here's a order of denial for both parcels for the clerk. All right. No, sir, there's nothing else on this topic. All right. Where were we at? We're on number 8, right, Mr. Furry? Yeah, we'll just wait a minute, though. Y'all want to take a...
Let them go.
We'll just wait a second. Yeah.
One that sucks to be a commissioner.
I'm Terry. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Right. I got to sign that.
I told him I kept getting closer to him, so we're just not first name.
There's no happy ending. And that was the problem you're trying to work through. Is anything that left them stay open is
all right, Mr. Furry, we were on item number 8, approval of task order number 3 for Miller Legg and Associates for the architectural pre-programming and initial geotechnical services for Project Summit Regional Shelter. Budget impact $346,950, paid from grant. Can you just give us an update on where you're at on Project Summit and what's going on with that?
Sure, and this is as it says, the third task order. You know, we've got some of our funding from the state, the appropriations, and this is just the first go of spending some money, surveying, some programming, some research, some utility mapping. The state gave us some money and they said spend it so that we can come back and ask for some more. We do have an application that we're preparing to submit for some disaster recovery money to go along with that project, as well as another appropriation request. So it's just the first little bit that we're kicking it off and start.
Right. This task order number 3 is just a continuation of what Miller Legg is already doing.
That's
on
correct.
The first 2 task orders.
Yep.
Any questions for item number 8? I really am the one who pulled that one just for Mr. Furry could give us kind of a quick update on where we were at on Summit.
Yeah. As we proceed, we'll try to bring back to the board updates and keep you posted.
I will tell the board that...
Gentlemen, can y'all please leave the building so we can operate? Thank you.
Good job, clerk.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to straight seats.
Run for office?
Good job,
Can you sit over here? I'm going to let you sit over here. New chairman, Eric Musgrove.
It's hard to hear people.
Anyway, I had pulled number 8, so Mr. Furry could give us a update on where we're at with Summit. And I will tell the board that I spoke to Tri-County Irrigation is going to go out one day this week or beginning of next and kind of do an analysis on that center pivot that's there. Mr. Furry's working on putting that out to bid just to help maintain the property while we're doing our planning. So hopefully they'll get out there and let Mr. Furry know what we got and what we don't got. That makes sense.
Yep.
As far as operability. Now he shows up. They're all gone now. You can go home. Oh.
It's ready to rush in, huh?
I was afraid I was going to have to call you. No, everyone was respectful.
I'll offer a motion.
I have a motion to approve number 8 by Commissioner Hale. Second by Commissioner White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is constitutional officers. Please. No constitutional staff items. Any staff wishing to speak? Commissioner items. Any commissioner items? County Attorney items.
Said my piece.
Okay, consultants, any consultants present wishing to speak? None. General business, there were none. I'm not aware of any additional agenda items. Number 16, administrators' comments and information.
Just a couple quick things. There's a license plate that is sold that generates revenue in Suwannee County. It's very little revenue for arts, and I think next week or next commission meeting, probably the Artists Guild may be coming to make that request for that. If there's any other groups you can think of that we need to offer that money to, maybe $150 is very little. Just let me know so we can reach out to them. So there's not, if the Artists Guild is the best ones, that's great, but they want to come and talk next meeting.
The Franklin White Charitable Foundation.
Can you paint other than a barn?
Oh, hey, we can.
Also, that we talked about last.
The Don Hill, future chairman of Suwannee County Board of Commissioners license plate.
No. Don Hill, future hairdo.
I object.
Anyway, go ahead. We talked last meeting about the cell tower at the fairgrounds. The gentleman is going to come present his case next meeting on the 15th, 16th, whatever that is, and just give you the heads up on that. We have got some opportunity to spend some more grant dollars out of the Catalyst site. When we had the design done on the sewer pipe going to the plant, I don't know what the right term is, transmission. We've got a transmission line, but it's not that. But anyway, also need water line too, so it's been engineered, and we probably bring a task order next meeting just so we can do that. Also, we need to get the lines under I-10, and while the contractor's there, probably bring a task order next meeting for that, to get that taken care of also for the same price per foot that was bid originally. It's not, so it'll follow the same criteria. Been meeting continually with Evergreen to bring Thursday to your workshop for the rate study, and we met again today trying to fine tune that. But that's what we've been doing, along with dozens of other things. But anyway, any questions you've got for us?
No, sir. I'm fresh out of questions.
Good. Thank you.
Closing comments. Commissioner Hale.
I think I speak for all of us when I say that was probably as many years I've been a commissioner, the hardest decision I've ever had to make.
Amen.
And it is not fun to sit in these seats all the time.
No, I mean, you realize you got a sheet of black and white paper here, and you got attorneys explaining it to you, and you realize on the other side of that is probably 155 miles. They're going to be looking for a meal in a few days, and albeit whether or not it's none of our business how they got to where they were at, but
plus I've known all the workers.
No.
You know.
Anyway, not good on that rabbit trail.
But that's all I want to say. But just appreciate everybody.
Yeah, Commissioner White.
Same thing. It just sucks to be a commissioner tonight. I hate to make decisions like that. I wish it were different. I wanted a win-win. I could see there wasn't one. You have to do the legal thing. That's what we've done.
Amen. Commissioner Perkins.
I echo what everybody's saying too. It was a tough thing to make and to do, but that's part of our job. And also, I just want to say another side note here that a few meetings back, Ms. Dempsey and her pastor came over and was talking about that I didn't answer the phone call and all that. Well, they go out and visit them the next day after, and along with Gene, I think Gene for being able to go out and help me, we did go out and did the road, scraped the road and everything. I talked with them, and everything was fine. We all talked and apologized to each other. But anyway, I was able to go in to help her out by moving the tree. I got Jennifer, the young lady from Jasper, who moved the trees for her, and went back again. She had some other property issues that she had some outbuilding that she wanted removed. So I'm working with her now to get 2 young men that I know of that will take those little outbuildings, take them down just for those scrap metal and stuff. So, and she have old campers, you want to give them as well. But anyway, I said to say this, she was right. And I believe me always been is that wherever you do it at, then you're straighten up there at it. So that's what I'm going to bring it back to the board. She was right. I did. What I was thinking of was that she was calling me off of my home office phone, but she was calling me from my cell phone. I get a ton, I don't know what you all get a ton of people call me about the police, whatever thing you giving money to this one, giving money to that one. And I mean, you can look down and I got a whole list of those numbers there. So I did miss her call. But then after going back over and talking with me, I think, we got everything rectified, everybody's just fine. And we did get those things resolved for her.
I'm with you, Commissioner Perkins. If someone just calls me one time and I don't have the number in my phone and they don't leave a message, I'm not one of those guys. I got enough people calling me not to call people, hey, I got a missed call from you. I'm not that guy. But if you leave a message, I'll call you back. Or if you call me 2 or 3 times, I'm like, all right, somebody's trying to get a hold of me. I might call that one back. But you just call me once and don't leave a message not in my phone, I got enough to do to be figuring out. My curiosity don't care who's calling me. Mobley.
I echo y'all guys on, having to make a tough decision. It's hard, man. I'm a business owner too, so to be out of business the next day would be devastating.
Yeah.
And remember Mr. Linton's family passed away a week ago, MacArthur Linton.
Yes, so definitely prayers for the Linton family and continued prayers for the Gwen family. I agree with all y'all. Sucked to be a commissioner tonight. Sucked to be the chairman tonight, hell.
I'll agree with you there, brother, but you did a fine job.
We'll
give you a hero.
Yeah, that's worth 2 cents. It just sucked. You see both sides there. You're hunting a win, and
that's why they say you get paid the big bucks.
Yeah. And according to some, it's all under the table, but whatever. At any rate, tough decision, long night. I don't have anything else I can think of. My brain's pretty shot.
Mine too.
All I need is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Perkins, second by White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.